Southern needed someone to run his offense, he hired Hall of Famer Dieter Brock to be his offensive coordinator. While the Cats played well early on, in recent weeks, the offense has cooled. And so did Brock's relationship with Southern. Monday morning, Brock quit. So Southern brought in former Toronto Argonaut head coach Mike Ferrigelli. Ferrigelli will now try to restore the roar to the Hamilton Ticats offense. Winnipeg Blue Bomber head coach Cal Murphy seems to be getting along with his offensive coordinator, Mike Kelly. However, these two have had a hard time finding a starting quarterback. The latest candidate is Reggie Slack. Slack had a tremendous day last week, throwing for 4 touchdowns and 377 yards against the Calgary Stampeders. He'll try for more of the same in a must-win situation. Tonight, Slack and the Bombers are in Ivor Wynn to take on the Ticats.
CFL Live. Tonight's game from Ivor Wynn Stadium. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers and the Hamilton Tiger Cats.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to the CFL Live on TSN. I'm Darren Detition. We're glad you joined us tonight for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers and the Hamilton Tiger Cats. It has indeed been a rather unusual week in Steeltown, but we'll get to that in a moment. Let's look at the big picture, and in any pro league, that means the playoffs. The Stamps, Lions, and Eskimos have all qualified, while Hamilton is a mere formality. So that leaves Saskatchewan, Winnipeg, Toronto, and Ottawa left mathematically. But realistically, it's a 2-horse race between the Green Riders and the Blue Bombers. Although Saskatchewan is 2 points up, they finished the season with a home-and-home against Baltimore, then a home-and-home with Calgary, and then the BC Lions. The schedule definitely favors the Bombers after tonight's game. They get Toronto twice and then Ottawa. Without a doubt, the schedule does favor Winnipeg, and it all starts tonight in Hamilton, where the Ticats made a rather large midweek move. With their thoughts on the coaching change, here's Gord Miller and Glenn Suter in Steeltown.
Darren, Dieter Brock's second coming in Hamilton lasted all of 13 games. He's gone back to Birmingham, and in as the offensive coordinator in Hamilton is Mike Ferrigelli, the former coach of the Toronto Argonauts. And Glenn, it all has to do with the weather?
It sure does. You know, Don Southern's been in this league for a long time, and he knows when you get in the playoffs in Canada, it's cold weather. And what he wants to do is develop more of a running game with his offense. Dieter Brock went with a 5-receiver pack set, and Don Southern wants to go with 2 backs in the backfield and get his running game going. That's the first part. The other part is Dieter Brock had a very complicated offense. Don Southern wants to simplify things for his quarterbacks. Anthony Calvillo hasn't had a lot of experience, and neither has Steve Taylor as a starter. So he's going to simplify things and get his running game going.
Well, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers have run a pretty simple offense all season long. They haven't had a choice. The revolving door continues to spin at quarterback, and right now it's Reggie Slack who's in as the starting quarterback.
That's right. Reggie Slack was hot against Calgary, so he's the starter for this game. But, you know, Reggie Slack is not the only reason that this team has had trouble offensively. It's a machine. You have to have your receivers getting open, and your offensive line has to give the quarterback time. And right now, Winnipeg's offensive line has given up more sacks than anyone in the league.
While when the Ticats beat the Bombers in Winnipeg earlier this year, it was only Hamilton's 3rd win against Winnipeg in 10 tries. But a win tonight puts the Ticats into the playoffs. Darren?
Thanks very much, gentlemen. As you mentioned, Steve Taylor will get the start tonight. In his 4 previous starts, the Ticats have won every game, but in 3 of those matches, Anthony Calvillo has come off the bench. Now, speaking of quarterbacks, the Bombers still looking for stability in the most important position in the CFL. Reggie Slack, he does get another opportunity this evening. The Tabbies, they have to hang on to the football. Second last in the CFL in the giveaway-takeaway ratio at a -19. And it's a milestone for Miles Gurrell. He plays in his 300th CFL football game tonight, the most by a position player. Should be an interesting contest. Both teams need the victory. Let's go to Ivor Wynn for the opening kickoff as Gordon Glenn are standing by. Gentlemen.
Thanks, very much, Darren, and welcome to Iverwin Stadium in Hamilton on a pretty nice night. But you know what? You can feel a bit of Christmas in the air, Glenn. Fall is on its way. And Don Southern, as we talked about in the opening, knows that as well as anyone. Hey, there was snow in Calgary last week, so Don Southern knows there's a good chance his team will play an outdoor playoff game, and he wants the kind of offense that can do it.
He sure does. He wants to go with those two backs in the backfield, get away. Now, he's not opposed to having 5 receivers back there. He likes the passing offense, but he knows when that snow's on the ground and you have to run the ball because of the weather, you have to have that running game in early. That was part of the reason for his change.
And on the other side of the football is Cal Murphy, the 63-year-old head coach of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, who has endured a tough season. This week, Cal made a trade. He sent quarterback Sean Moore to Calgary for lineman Kenny Walker, who is not in the lineup tonight. But Cal's having a good time before the game as the fans down on that east side here at Iverwin Stadium are saluting him. And one of his players, Miles Gurrell, will talk more about that a little bit later. So the players are getting set to take the field. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers will receive to begin this football game. The last time they met, the game went to overtime, and Glenn, it was a great coaching duel between Southern and Cal Murphy. We saw the unusual step late in the fourth quarter. Hamilton led by 2. And yet Don Southern chose to give up a safety that tied the game.
Yeah, it was one of those really big decisions. Southern chose to give up the tying points when there was really no wind involved. But now listen, Hamilton won. Paul Osbaldiston kicked the winning field goal in the game. They won it, so the decision was perfect if you're looking back on it that way.
So Osbaldiston will get set to kick it off now to the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, who lost a major part of their special teams last week when Shannon Baker was injured in the loss to Calgary. Back deep to receive for the Bombers are Milt Stiegel and Wilbert Biggins. And this is Stiegel from the 17-yard line looking for a seam. He picks his way ahead and right out to the 35-yard line. And so Reggie Slack will trot out in the field after an 18-yard return. 27-year-old Reggie Slack is back as the starter for the Bombers, the only team in the CFL under 50% passing as a team. Miles Gurrell leads the offensive line as the starting lineups are brought to you by Mr. Sub. Fresh thinking is what we are. Gurrell playing in his 300th CFL game tonight. And taking the place of Shannon Baker, wide receiver, is Alan Boyko, and Milt Stiegel is in as the slot back. Blaze Bryant and Chris Johnstone begin the game in the backfield. Bryant, the lone setback, takes the handoff from Reggie Slack, and Blaze Bryant out across the 40 to the 43-yard line, tackled by middle linebacker Tim Brown. Brown takes the place of Michael O'Shea, who injured his elbow in the last meeting between these two. O'Shea is believed to be 2 to 3 weeks away from returning to the Hamilton starting lineup. And the Ticats, who are second in the league in interceptions, are led on the corner by Eric Carter, whose 8 interceptions lead the Canadian Football League. Second and a yard. This is Blaze Bryant out across the 45 to the 46-yard line. He's got the first down for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers as Brett McNeil led the offensive line charge for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. 20 different receivers have caught passes this year from 6 different Winnipeg quarterbacks, Glenn.
And the word you think about right there is inconsistency. But listen, it's not just the quarterback's fault. When you give up 56 sacks like these Winnipeg Blue Bombers have, it's tough for any quarterback to be successful.
Slack, the former Ticat, has his team 1st and 10.
Okay.
Quick drop for Slack, lots of time, and he guns it. And great coverage there by Eric Carter. He was looking over Tim Daniels' shoulder, but Carter looking for what would have been his league-leading 9th interception.
What a great job that Carter does on the curl pattern. One of the toughest in the league to cover. The guy runs the curl, comes back to the football. Watch Carter coming back, get that hand in there and register another knockdown. He leads the team in knockdowns with 10. That's his 11th of the season.
This Hamilton defensive backfield, definitely a group of ball hawks. Now from the shotgun on 2nd and 10. Slack under pressure. Gets it out to the sideline for Gerald Wilcox, and he's out of bounds just on the Winnipeg side of midfield, which will leave him 1.5 yards short of a Blue Bomber first down. And now Cal Murphy has a decision to make. They're indicating it's slightly more than 1 yard. And we'll see if Cal Murphy's in an early gambling mood. No, he's not. Bob Cameron and the punting unit come back on the field.
And you just saw right there in the instant replay the Hamilton team meeting at Reggie Slack. We talked about the pressure that Slack has been under throughout this year, and all the other quarterbacks for that matter for Winnipeg, and looks like they're going to get that same kind of pressure tonight.
41-year-old Bob Cameron is one of 4 Winnipeg players who was born in the 1950s. Nothing wrong with that, mind you. But in the Canadian Football League, that is a little unusual. He's also listed as their 3rd-string quarterback tonight. The lone man back deep to receive is Sam Rogers. And Rogers from the 10 moves deliberately forward and gets out to about the 18-yard line, which is where the Hamilton Ticats will take over after an 8-yard return of the 46-yard Bob Cameron punt. 28-year-old Steve Taylor, the former Edmonton Eskimo and Calgary Stampeder, gets the start at quarterback for the Hamilton Ticats. And 11-year veteran Dale Sanderson anchors this Hamilton offensive line. Earl Winfield and Larry Thompson are wide receiver. Lee Knight and Derek McAdoo join Steve Taylor in the Hamilton offensive backfield. Derek McAdoo in place of the injured Kalen Hall. First and 10 Ticats. They fake to McAdoo, and Taylor is rolling out right away. K.D. Williams had the rush on, and Taylor was fortunate to get that pass away, looking for Manny Hazard.
Was quite the pass by Steve Taylor, because K.D. Williams had the crosshairs there right on those shoulder pads and really lowered the boom on him late. You see him rolling to his right and trying to get Manny Hazard downfield, but there comes the hit, and it was quite a hit on Taylor to start this game. But it's interesting that they go to play action. Everyone talking about Don Southern wanting to get the running game going. What does he do on first down in the first play? Little play action pass.
Brings up 2nd and 10 from the 17-yard line. Taylor thought about running for a moment, now rolls out again. This time, lots of time, Taylor with a strong throw for Hazard, and Hazard has the catch for a first down at the Hamilton 36-yard line. The Bombers are saying no catch. And the officials confer, and they agree, so it is no catch, and Paul Osbaldiston comes into punt.
We get a chance to look at it again. The instant replay makes a catch right there, and I just needs 1 foot, and a good call by the official, because you saw that 1 foot that did come down was definitely on the white stripe.
Darius Watson with the man there on the coverage. And now Wilbert Biggins and Milt Stiegel are back to receive Paul Osbaldiston's punt. His 44.9-yard average is the best of his career. And the ball continues to bounce down around the 25-yard line, and getting nowhere is Wilbert Biggins, ridden out of bounds at the 28-yard line. So chalk it up as a 59-yard punt and a loss of 7 as the CFL Live will return in a moment.
CFL Live on TSN. Brought to you by All Sports. The new All Sports drink for athletes. All Sports. The game will never be the same. And by Bell Advantage Long Distance Services, from the Alliance of Canada's only full-service telecommunications companies.
Back in Hamilton, where the recently deposed head coach of the Toronto Argonauts now runs the offense, Mike Farragelli. And to his right, you can see Mike McCarthy, the former GM of the Argos. Now, Mike Farragelli was the offensive coordinator for the Edmonton Eskimos in 1989 when they went 16-2 in the regular season. That team ran the ball for an average of 186 yards a game, 50 yards a game better than anyone else in the league that year. And in fact, 186 yards rushing a game is the highest a team has done in the Canadian Football League in the last 20 years.
You think that fits into Don Southern's plans for a running offense?
Like a glove. 1st and 10 for the Bombers from their own 28-yard line. The give goes to Blaze Bryant. He's flushed back inside. And a good effort made on the play by Rob Hitchcock, number 42. Hitchcock draws in at the outside linebacker position for the Hamilton Ticats. Due to some injuries they've had, he's a defensive back converted to linebacker.
Yeah, he came into training camp as a free safety. Don Southern wanted him to play there, but he's done a great job at linebacker. He did in their last game, so he gets to start. One of those in-between guys, heavy enough to play linebacker at 210, but he's got good feet, so they're really thinking of high things for Hitchcock.
6 defensive backs in now on 2nd and 10 for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. They fake the draw to Blaze Bryant. Big rush on Reggie Slack. Now he gets it away. And it's a one-hop As he's looking over to the far sideline, and the ball hopped up as he was trying to get to Gerald Wilcox, but Jesse Small was all over the Winnipeg quarterback.
8 sacks so far in 1995 for Jesse Small. That's number 1 in the Hamilton Ticats. You'll see him working on fullback Mike Johnson. Little slap to the shoulder pad gets him out of his way, and then pushing the back. You know, Small's position there is contained, so he has to make sure first he's wide enough, make sure the quarterback doesn't get outside him, and then think about sack.
So it's a third down punting situation once again for Bob Cameron. And he gets another beauty away. Sam Rogers from his 33-yard line can't get by the first wave. A great job on special teams by K.D. Williams. Another good punt by Cameron, 47 yards, and a return of 7 by Sam Rogers. Well, for Steve Taylor and the Hamilton offense, scoring first is very important. Ticats are 5-1 this year when they get the first points.
And Don Southern also said to us in our meeting with him that Steve Taylor is better as his starter. Anthony Calvillo seems to come off the bench better. So this is a system that he wants to try and see if it's going to be consistent throughout the rest of the season.
First down, the give goes to Derek McAdoo, and McAdoo fights his way out across the 45 to about the 46-yard line. And the stop is made by the new man, linebacker Andre Allen. They've had some injuries to the linebacker, so Andre Allen and Kelvin Smith are starters with Paul Randolph and Doug Hawking out. Greg Clark takes up a much bigger role, number 58. Remember, he was tossed out of the game last week against Calgary for physically abusing an official. These 5 defensive backs for Winnipeg all played in the game against Hamilton, but only one of them, Darius Watson, played the same position he's playing right now. All the others were moved around.
Well, it's a young secondary, and it's led by number 30, Daryl Sampson. He's the veteran back there, moved to safety from his halfback. He needs to keep them together.
8 with 6 for McAdoo. It's 2nd and 4. And from the shotgun, Taylor has time and has a man, Earl Winfield. Winfield into Winnipeg territory is stopped at the 48-yard line. Darius Watson made the stop, but it's a gain of 17 yards and a Hamilton first down.
You know, a lot of people talk about the great speed of an Earl Winfield.
There was a flag on the play, but it's offside against Winnipeg. That will be declined. George Black is the referee tonight.
Offside, Winnipeg number 44. Penalty is declined. First down.
They talk about Winfield and his great speed and his great ability to make the catches, but that case it was just a smart play because Winfield found the hole in the zone, sat down and gave a target for his quarterback in Steve Taylor.
So it's a 1st and 10 for the Ticats into Winnipeg territory for the first time at the 47. Back to the ground. Derek McAdoo flushed outside. He'll get nowhere. Kelvin Smith stopped his initial progress and then got some help from Andre Allen. So the 2 new linebackers for Winnipeg combined to make the stop. But this Bomber defense has been riddled with injuries all season long. In fact, the Bombers have given up a league-leading 60 touchdowns this year.
Well, Kelvin Smith is one of those guys who's been around in Winnipeg in that linebacker factory for a long time. He knows the system, well, for 2 years. He knows the system, and he knows what Cal expects from the linebacker position.
And a 1 for McAdoo. 2nd and 9. 3 receivers to the near side of the field. Taylor looks over the middle, and the ball bounces out of the hands of Manny Hazard, who was well covered by K.D. Williams. And K.D. Williams, the linebacker, has been all over the field early in the first quarter, much as he was last week against the Calgary Stampeders.
You know, he's a guy also that leads his team in special teams tackles all over the field on all situations. You see the ball just ricochet off the top of his helmet on the play, and a little uncharacteristic of these Winnipeg Blue Bombers. They're playing zone on 2nd down. They usually send pressure.
This would have been a 52-yard field goal try for Paulus Balderson. Instead, he'll go back in punt formation as the Bombers look to win the early battle for field position rather. Wilbert Stiegel is back deep along with, or Milt Stiegel rather, with Wilbert Piggins is back deep, and the ball rolls out of bounds. The question is where, and they'll say in the end zone, so the Ticats have those first points. 1 to be exact. Ozzie might have been looking to get it out of bounds inside the 10. Instead, he gets a single. And Hamilton leads Winnipeg 1-0 in the first quarter.
Or air conditioner filters.
He was born to be a football player. He really was. Miles Garrell was named after legendary Edmonton running back Rollie Miles. And Miles tonight playing in his 300th regular season game was honored before the game by a former teammate, Neil Lumsden. And the Ticats presented him with a plaque and a picture of Miles playing for the Tabbies, who won a Grey Cup here back in 1986. Miles Garrell is also amazing in that he rarely misses a play. In fact, in Winnipeg, they're keeping a stat on him. If a team averages 65 offensive plays in a game, Miles Garrell has a streak of some 8,900 consecutive plays going. Mind you, when you're 6'8" and 325 pounds, pretty tough to get hurt, I guess.
Well, I think there's still a good opportunity that anyone can get hurt on the football field, but that is amazing that an offensive lineman played in 300 football games.
We have an illegal substance against Winnipeg number 63. 10-yard penalty, first down and 20.
Chris Welby's got an illegal substance. If I had to bet, I'd say it'd be a chocolate bar or some kind of snack, but he must have something on his uniform. Now, some guys do put Vaseline on their jerseys to prevent defensive linemen from grabbing them. We'll have a look at Chris Welby and see what exactly he's got on him.
Well, you know, Gord, when I was in the locker room now, I never saw any illegal substances, although they did use silicone Vaseline and a few others that I could mention. So
what's he got on? It's on the arms.
Oh, he's just trying to shine up his arms, make him look bigger, if that's possible.
He's all buffed.
Well, they'll get that off and he'll be back in, but
I've never seen that. You might want to try a roll-on next time. First and 20 now. Flags are down again as there was early movement in slack. Throwing it out there for Milt Stiegel. The pass falls incomplete. I can honestly say I've never seen that on the sidelines before. Now we'll see what the call is. It's offside this time against Hamilton.
Well, what it is when the defensive linemen try to make their move.
Offside. Hamilton number 97. Repeat, first down.
When defensive linemen try to make their move, what they'll do a lot of times is grab onto that jersey and then pull in order to get some separation. Sometimes those offensive linemen will try and put a little substance on there to make it a little slippery.
Still no Walby, so Jim Smurl takes his place at right tackle. First and 15. 3 straight first down plays, and they throw it over the middle for Blaze Bryant. Make it 4 as Bryant gets out to the 47-yard line. He is stopped on the play by Rob Hitchcock, but he's got a gain of 17 yards and a Winnipeg first down.
And Blaze Bryant was out of his tailback position and to the right side of the field, and what they're trying to do is get him inside the linebackers, inside the hole in the zone, and spread out that coverage by linebackers Tim Brown and Hassan Bailey. Once he gets in between them, makes a catch and then breaks the seam.
Stiegel in motion. They give it back into the middle of Blaze Bryant, who fights his way close to midfield. Gets out to about the 54-yard line of the Bombers. And the stop is made by Mike Philbrick, the Hamilton native who played his university football at Carleton.
You start to get the feeling, though, that this Winnipeg offensive line is finally back to where they like to play. Chris Walby, Miles Garrell, both back at their bookends position at the tackles. Then you got Breck McNeil and Kevin Robson playing the guards position. So it seems like right now they're back to where they like to be, and they're moving the ball down the field.
Walby's back out there at the bottom of the offensive line. Hamilton showing blitz, in fact showing it too soon. And they dump it off underneath. The pass is complete to Milt Stiegel, who gets into Hamilton territory down to the 52-yard line. Looked like Tim Brown, the middle linebacker, was offside for Hamilton.
Milt Stiegel in a couple of games has put up some impressive numbers, 265 yards and 3 touchdowns. You'll see the offside right here. Tim Brown coming on the blitz and gets a little too anxious as he gets caught in the neutral zone.
Offside. Hamilton number 52. First down.
So it'll be a first down now for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers as they move into Hamilton territory. Down to the Ticat 50-yard line. 1-0 the Ticats lead with 5:47 to play in the first quarter.
See Brown, shot of Tim Brown there. He played in the World League in 1994 with the Scottish Claymores. Go to the CFL and replaces a pretty good linebacker in Michael O'Shea.
First and 10 Winnipeg from the Hamilton 50. Slack. Roll and gets it out to Stiegel. He was being covered by Gary Lewis, but Stiegel has a pickup of 8. as he gets down to the 42-yard line. And Milt Stiegel is suddenly a major part of this Winnipeg offense. You mentioned 265 yards in 3 games.
And 3 touchdowns in those games. He's really come on, did a great job against Calgary, who have a great defense. And Cal Murphy hopes that this is his big play guy for the rest of the season.
And remember, they released Gerald Alfin just before Labor Day. He had 18 touchdown catches last year for Winnipeg. 2nd and 2, Bombers. They give to Blaze Bryant across the 40. He gets down to the 37-yard line. There are flags down again. And it would appear that the Ticats were offside for what would be the 4th time in the first quarter.
Well, it looked to me like Rob Hitchcock from his strong linebacker position got anxious on that play and jumped offside.
Offside, Hamilton number 42, first down.
Oh, what a call by Glenn Suter.
Well, Rob Hitchcock's playing in his first start. He's a little excited about it. Talked to him before the game. He knows he can play the position. He feels comfortable because he played a little linebacker in college, but he got a little anxious there and jumped offside.
Well, I talked to some of the Bombers before the game, and they said the first thing they were going to try to do was run at him and test him. Tough to play linebacker at that weight, and they feel if they throw some of those big offensive linemen at him, they might have some success running the football. There's defensive coordinator Urban Bowman, who doesn't like all the penalties. 1st and 10 from the 37. Slack from a shotgun. Had time, but now he's in trouble. Slack just gets it away and down to the 25-yard line. Completed there to Tim Daniels. Is it a catch and a fumble?
I think they're ruling no catch.
Yeah, they are. And the Ticats thought it was a catch and a fumble. The Bombers have fumbled the ball more than any team in the Canadian Football League this year.
Well, you see the tail end of it here. Slack's in trouble, but what a throw across his body. Now, Daniel makes the catch. He has to hold it, stop the rotation of the ball, hold it for 3 seconds. Doesn't look like he did. See the pressure coming up the middle right there from Mike Campbell and Jesse Small, but a good throw by Slack. Just Daniel couldn't hang on.
2nd down. Slack has lots of time. Over the middle, he has a man and falls incomplete. Tim Daniel was open for a moment, but Eric Carter closed so quickly and broke up the play.
The #1 interceptor in the CFL almost had another one, because we talked about it in our last game, Gord, about baiting a receiver, and Eric Carter knew exactly what he was doing. The post pattern was coming. He waited for the right moment and then broke on the football, and had that been thrown on target, I think Eric Carter would have had the best chance to catch it. Troy
Westwood with a field goal try from the 44. He is 8 of 16 outside the 40-yard line. The holder, Westwood puts it up. It's wobbling, but it's through. And so the Winnipeg Blue Bombers take the lead for the first time. 3-1 is the score in a defensive battle at Iverwin Stadium in Hamilton. We'll be back with more on the CFL Live in a moment.
CFL Live, brought to you in part by 3M Canada. Imagining the unthinkable and developing the unknown. That's 3M Innovation at Work.
Tomorrow night from Frank Clair Stadium in Ottawa, John Wells and Leif Pedersen will have the San Antonio Texans against the Ottawa Rough Riders. San Antonio at 8-5. And this could be the year for the postseason for the former Sacramento franchise. Remember, they went 9-9 and missed the playoffs.
Should be a good matchup, of course. Don Southern in his own playoff race in the North Division.
We mentioned Urban Bowman a moment ago. Of course, he was the interim coach when Cal Murphy had his heart transplant surgery. 1st and 10 for the Ticats from the 35. The ball gunned over the middle and almost intercepted. Very nearly picked off on the play by Winnipeg defender number 91. And you know what? He's not on our roster. I have no idea who that is.
Someone has made a jersey change on us.
I have no idea who that is. There's no number 91 listed for Winnipeg, folks.
It's Greg Clark. It looked like
wearing who normally wears number 58, so they obviously replaced his sweater. We'll have to make a note of that. On 2nd down, Taylor dumps it off for Derek McAdoo. McAdoo fights his way out to the 43-yard line, a gain of 8. That'll leave him a couple of yards short. They scared me there for a minute.
The secret addition. There's Greg Clark. Now wearing number 91. It's usually 58.
You know what? I did a college game once where they changed the uniforms right before the game because a sponsor had bought the game, so to speak, so they were one of the teams to wear their sweaters. All the numbers were wrong.
That was what the coach said. Yeah, the sponsor made us do it.
That's right.
It was just to confuse the other team.
Ballison gets the punt away. It's a low bouncing kick at the 30-yard line. And it's picked up on the bounce by Milt Stegall, and look out! He's got K.D. Williams in front of him, and he's got all kinds of room. He's waiting for a block, and Stegall now cuts it inside the 10 and down to the 7. He's finally stopped on the play by Sam Rogers, but special teams have been a problem for the Hamilton Ticats in the last couple of weeks, and that time Milt Stegall comes up with a gigantic return for Winnipeg.
And you see what happens right there. All the Hamilton jerseys right in the same spot. Now you say you'll be coached, never follow your own color. That means you don't get bunched up. That time Hamilton got bunched up. Stegall got to the outside, and it was a foot race from there.
A 42-yard punt, but it was a low bouncing kick, and Stegall took it back for a 78-yard return.
You'll see him go down the sideline. He's untouched because the Hamilton Ticats got out of their coverage lanes. And Don Southern said when there's been a problem in his coverage, and he's had some this year, it's because guys get out of their lanes. Now, when you get out, you got to get back in. Sometimes you're forced out, but you got to get back in and keep that curtain across the whole field.
Well, one thing the Bombers have been talking about is that they haven't gotten many short fields this year. Well, they don't get much shorter than this. It'll be first and goal from the 7, and there is an injured Winnipeg Blue Bomber down at about the 24-yard line, all the way down at the other end of the field. So Ross Hodgkinson and the training staff are attending to him. You know, special teams have been such a problem for Winnipeg. When you look at recent years, they've been looking for that burner. You see Jerron Bolton is the injured Blue Bomber, but they've been looking for that speedster, the Gizmo Williams type of player, the guy who can break the game open with one return. And Milt Stegall is just the latest in a long line of guys trying to fill that role for Winnipeg.
Sure is. Jerron Bolton, you see right there, was one of the other guys that they wanted as a returner, but when he hurt his quadricep muscle, they took him off the return teams, played him strictly as the cornerback. He's done such a great job on defense, so Cal Murphy didn't want to jeopardize him on special teams. But, you know, his philosophy for a lot of times on punt returns is make sure you catch the ball. He's not too worried about breaking it. Make sure you catch it, retain possession. Alan Boyko's back there for that reason.
Jerron Bolton has had 2 different stretches this year where he's missed games due to injuries. He's played only 8 games total, but he has 6 interceptions in those 8 games.
Yeah, he's really playing well at the corner. Looks like he has a shoulder problem, and hopefully it's just a bruise for these Winnipeg Blue Bombers because they do not want to lose him.
Well, right now the focus is on the Winnipeg offense. First and goal from the Hamilton 7. Johnstone and Bryant in the backfield. And on first down, the give goes to Blaze Bryant. Bryant puts his head down and gets down to the 1-yard line. He was stopped short by Hassan Bailey and Tim Brown. And Rob Hitchcock got over to help as well. It'll be second and goal now from the 1.
It was a great job of Blaze Bryant reacting to what he saw in front of him. That was all instinct because he saw no hole in the middle. The play was designed to hit right up behind the guard, Kevin Robson, but it was jammed up. He bounced to the outside, and if it wasn't for Rob Hitchcock, he scores.
Second and goal from the 1. Slack straight ahead. Touchdown! And so the Bombers take advantage of the 78-yard return by Milt Stegall. Reggie Slack takes it in for his second rushing touchdown of the season, and Winnipeg now extends its lead 9-1 with a point after to come.
Boy, and this is what this Winnipeg offense needed. A little confidence. They take advantage of the big punt return. You see the surge from that huge offensive line that averages over 300 pounds. They just moved that line of scrimmage from the 1-yard line to 1 yard deep in the end zone, and that allowed Reggie Slack to just follow in behind and score the first touchdown of the ballgame.
You know, Reggie Slack, there's been so much talk about him with the bad knee, and he does have a chronically bad knee. In fact, there was a time last year where he had to get it drained after every game. As Westwood puts the point after through, he averages 6.7 yards a carry. That's one of the better rushing averages for quarterbacks in the CFL. So a big special teams play for the Bombers leads to a Winnipeg touchdown, and now 10-1 Winnipeg with 1:28 to play in the opening quarter. And the Bombers getting a big boost after a rough couple of weeks. Remember, they went to Edmonton and then played in Calgary and then had Calgary at home. This is their 5th game in 19 days.
It's been one of those years for Cal Murphy. When they lose big. We're talking big-time scores against them, 50-plus points, and he says it's just been snowballing on him this year, but this is exactly what you need if you're a struggling offense. Some confidence early. Reggie Slack looks like he feels comfortable. His offensive line is firing off the ball and creating some holes, and right now, the momentum is definitely with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
Reggie Slack, the native of Milton, Florida, he throws on the run as well as any quarterback in the CFL.
Oh, one of the strongest arms. Remember playing against him. He's one of those guys as a defensive back, you have to take that extra step back. You know that if he stays in that pocket and gets time, he can throw it a mile.
Manny Hazard and Sam Rogers are back deep to receive the kickoff from Troy Westwood. And Westwood, the left footer, leans into it. This will be Rogers from the 20. Now Rogers looking to return the favor on special teams, but Brendan Rogers got a piece of him, and Sam Rogers slipped up at about the 35-yard line. A 14-yard return after a 54-yard kickoff. Well, the Ford scoring drive, they only had to go 7, and it took them just 2 plays to do it as Reggie Slack goes in for the touchdown. So Rogers is tackled by Rogers on that play.
And we'll have a great shot of Brendan Rogers, a special teams specialist. Led his team for 3 years in a row in tackles on special teams, and he's got a bit of a fight on his hands this year because K.D. Williams is leading right now, but he's close behind with 19 tackles.
First and 10, Ticats with 35. Taylor waits and then throws it, and that almost cost him because you know that Shannon Garrett's eyes got as big as silver dollars when he saw that ball coming out.
Well, Shannon Garrett read the play perfectly. He saw the short drop from the quarterback, and when you get a short drop, what I mean by that is 3 or 4 steps. We'll get a look at it as Steve Taylor is going to take the ball. Now, this is a short stop. 3 steps, fire and throw. Now, when you're a defensive back and see that, you know the patterns are short. And wow, Garrett read it perfectly.
On second down, Taylor has time and has it intercepted. Picked off by K.D. Williams, and another big play. He dropped the ball. Williams dropped the football, and the Ticats got it back. Doug Davies made the recovery after Manny Hazard stripped him of the football.
Wow, Manny Hazard, he looked like one of the best defensive backs in the league in that play. K.D. Williams read the play and made the interception, but Manny Hazard saves it for Hamilton. You'll see the ball right here. The ball is intercepted on a nice catch by K.D. Williams as he's going into that curl zone, but watch the hit right there by Manny Hazard as he knocks the ball clean out of the hands of K.D. Williams.
How about that? Well, the Ticats lose 5 yards, but they get a first down and they get the ball back. On first down, Taylor on the roll, gets it out and has a man. Now he dropped the football. Barry Rose made the catch, dropped the ball, and it's Winnipeg ball. We've had 3 turnovers in the last 2 plays, and the ball is recovered by the Bombers. Unbelievable.
Well, this is amazing because Steve Taylor throws a dart in between traffic. You'll see him right there threading the needle, but Don Southern has talked about it all week. His plus-minus is second worst in the league. His takeaway giveaways, that is, and again, his football team gives up the football.
Jason Mallett recovered it, and the Bombers have it. First and 10 at the Hamilton 45. Wow. Slack from the shotgun. Guns it out to the far side for Boyko, and Alan Boyko just ducks underneath the hit of Don Robinson. And Boyko has a gain of 6 yards on the final play of the opening quarter. Well, it ends with a flourish. 3 turnovers on 2 plays. The Bombers have the lead, and they have the football. We'll return for the second quarter on the CFL Live in just a moment. Man, I think you can see Neil Armstrong's footprints up there, huh? 10-1 Winnipeg leads as we get set for the start of the second quarter. And here's the numbers through 15 minutes. Well, turnovers, 2 by Hamilton, 1 by Winnipeg in a 10-second span. And really not much to choose between the two teams. Of course, the big punt return by Milt Stegall set up the 7-yard touchdown drive by Winnipeg to give us the 10-1 score.
Yeah, so far that has been the play of the game, that Stegall punt return, and that's what's given Winnipeg their points. And right now, after the turnover, they're knocking on the door again, and Cal Murphy would like nothing more than to punch this one in and get his offense even more confidence.
Cal Murphy was talking this week about the fact that a Winnipeg newspaper writer said it was about time he stepped aside and let someone else do the job. You can see that the pressure isn't getting to Cal.
Oh, he's been in that position before.
2nd and 4 now, and Reggie Slack fires it out for Gerald Wilcox, and Wilcox gets out of bounds at the 32 as he takes Gary Lewis for a ride. And that should be a first down for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, and it is.
And it was the same sort of pattern that we saw from Steve Taylor a moment ago. The quick out, the quick 3-step drop, and Reggie Slack delivers it a little bit behind Wilcox, who comes up with the catch, and he's finally starting to play a little bit like we're used to from Gerald Wilcox. You know, with 579 yards last year, he had 1,600 yards plus on the season. Definitely behind what he's used to.
The first pick overall in the 89 CFL draft. 1st and 10 Bombers. Slack back over the middle, and this time he completes it to Blaze Bryant. And Bryant is stopped by Hassan Bailey and Tim Brown. Blaze Bryant has not been used as much as a receiver as the Bombers would like. He had just 12 catches coming into the game.
Yeah, but obviously right now this is scouting, and Winnipeg has seen something in that Hamilton defense, likely the fact that they've had to make changes at the linebacker position. So they're going to get Blaze Bryant outside and work him in the passing.
1st and 10 from the 20. Slack. Inside for Tim Daniel. Daniel lunging for the first down is tripped up short by Eric Carter, but it'll be a gain of 8 yards. And ball possession by the Winnipeg Blue Bombers with Reggie Slack at the controls. The former Hamilton Ticat. In fact, he was there last year after playing for Toronto.
Not bad numbers for him when he was in there. You know, he has had success in the Canadian Football League, so Cal Murphy feels like if he's going to make these playoffs and do well in them, he's the guy who's going to get them there.
2nd and 2. Here comes Blaze Bryant getting outside. Did he get the first down? Didn't look like it. Rob Hitchcock drove him out of bounds just outside the 10-yard line, and he needed to get to the 10 for the first down. So Bryant was looking for an opening to get upfield. Doesn't look like he got there.
I got to tell you, Rob Hitchcock in his first start as that strong side linebacker has been impressive. A couple of nice tackles down on the goal line, and now you'll see him string this one out. Blaze Bryant has great speed breaking to the outside, but Hitchcock right there, you'll see him putting the hit and holding Blaze Bryant short. Good speed. He's a free safety linebacker type guy, so he's got the good speed.
And you see Blaze Bryant came up about a half-yard short of a Winnipeg first down. Cal Murphy faced a 3rd and a long yard early in the game and elected to kick. What does he do now on 3rd and less than a yard?
Well, this is, I mean, it doesn't look like very far, but it all depends on the marking of the football when you get in this situation, and you never want to take a gamble and give up points.
The rule of thumb I've always heard is, in a league where they give you a yard, you should be able to get one.
Yeah, but you know, when those two lines hit and that ball is on the ground, then the official comes in and it's up to his discretion as to where he actually places the football, and it can mean a matter of inches. You don't get it, and you're down here and come away with no points. Well, Cal's going to go for it.
3rd and half a yard. Slack straight ahead, got it easily as he drove ahead. Jesse Small tried to come in there late, but the Bomber quarterback fell across the 10-yard line. That'll make it 1st and goal for the Bombers just inside the Hamilton 10-yard line.
So now you look at it and say, what a great decision by by Cal Murphy. But you know, when his offensive line is playing like it is early in this football game, you see the great surge by that offensive line, recreating the line of scrimmage back behind the defensive line of Hamilton, and you get the first down every time on that kind of case.
Winnipeg has had the decided offensive advantage. 1st and goal. Quick throw. Gerald Wilcox
touchdown. Gerald Wilcox with his 4th touchdown catch of the year. The Bombers lead at 16-1. The point after to come.
Well, big touchdown for 2 reasons. One is that Wilcox and Reggie Slack recognized that Hamilton had not covered down on him. What covering down means is that Rob Hitchcock from his linebacker position has to come out and line up on Wilcox. Now, he's new at it. He forgot his assignment, or he didn't see Wilcox out there, didn't get out there. They recognized it and hit him.
Well, Hitchcock should recognize Wilcox. They went to the same university. They both went to Weber State, so he ought to know who he is. Wilcox with the touchdown, and the Bombers with a 17-1 lead over Hamilton. Gerald Wilcox with the touchdown catch. You mentioned it's been kind of an off year for him, but now late in the year, he comes up with a big touchdown catch. And Reggie Slack, what a drive for him. 5 for 5 for 42 yards. And, of course, the touchdown pass.
And you'll see him right there celebrating. He is pumped up, and the reason that is, he's on the same level as the receiver communication-wise, and when that happens, it's a great feeling. You feel like you're clicking, you feel like you're reading the same things, and it's going to be a big night. Right now, those 2 guys feel like they're on the same page.
And right now, they certainly are, and Winnipeg has taken the life out of this Hamilton crowd. 17-1, the Bombers lead. So Hamilton's record after scoring first is in jeopardy here. The Ticats were 5-1, and they did get the first point in this game. Troy Westwood booms the kickoff to Rogers at the 5. Sam Rogers looking for a lane, gets out to about the 33-yard line before he's driven back by Greg Clark. A 30-yard return of the kickoff. The Admirals scoring drive, 7 plays, 45 yards, and Gerald Wilcox caps it off with the 9-yard touchdown catch. So Gerald Wilcox, who came into the game with just 579 yards receiving, is coming on at the right time of year.
Certainly is, and he's been around this league, knows when it's important, and boy, the backs are against the wall for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. And
I can't believe you said that.
Well, they are. They need to.
There's no tomorrow, huh?
There's no tomorrow. They need to win this game to stay in that race for the last playoff spot in the North Division.
Well, you look at the schedules down the stretch, and Darren talked about it a little bit. Winnipeg right now trails Saskatchewan by 2 points for the final playoff spot. But man, does Saskatchewan have the tough schedule coming down the stretch.
Yeah, they have Calgary a couple times, Baltimore twice, and then BC.
Yikes. Andre Allen, the first-year man out of Northern Iowa, is the injured Winnipeg Blue Bomber. The last thing they needed to see was another injured linebacker. That's been the story for Winnipeg all season long. It's just been the revolving door at quarterback and at linebacker. They cannot keep people healthy at those 2 positions.
And what they have to do when they're substituting for Andre Allen is go with the 43, 4 down linemen and 3 linebackers. So Colin Scribner comes in the game.
It is a 43 defense for Winnipeg. 1st and 10 for the Ticats from their own 30. Derek McAdoo the carry, and he got whacked. Greg Clark with the new number made the same old play as he stuffed Derek McAdoo.
Wow, different number, same guy. Wow, what a play by Greg Clark, who leads this team in tackles with 56, and this is why. Great flow and great instincts for a linebacker. He just feels the play, comes over and really lays a lick on Derek McAdoo.
And now we've got an injured Hamilton Ticat on the play.
I believe it's Val St. Germain, and you know, he was probably out there pulling for McAdoo and got caught in the mix with Greg Clark coming in. Clark hit Val St. Germain and Derek McAdoo on the play.
And we were talking about Gerald Wilcox being a first overall pick in the CFL draft. So was Val St. Germain. He was the first player taken in the '94 CFL draft. It looks like he rolled over on that knee.
Yeah, it looks like Greg Clark, after he made the tackle, rolled down and got Val St. Germain's knee as he rolled down in there, but it looks like he'll be okay.
Therapist Jerry Kurlowicz in the white hat, former Ottawa Rough Rider and Edmonton Eskimo. Man, he gets around.
You know, sometimes when your knee gets rolled on like that, it's almost that you're so worried that you've blown out your knee. You feel a little something in there, you're so worried you stay on the turf just to make sure it's okay, and that looks like the case for St. Germain. Looks like he'll be back.
It was a gain of a yard for Derek McAdoo. It'll bring up 2nd and 9. And concern now for the Hamilton Ticats offense as
Jude St. John, the first-year man of the University of Western Ontario, now draws in at right tackle. He's number 61 at the bottom of your screen. From the shotgun, Steve Taylor up over the middle. He's got a man, and he's got the catch. It's complete to Manny Hazard for a Hamilton first down up at the 47-yard line.
Well, we talked to Manny Hazard before the game. He seemed real loose, seemed really excited about this football game, and he's playing well. He had the big hit on K.D. Williams to get his ball back for his team, and now comes across the middle and makes a nice catch gets some momentum back for the Hamilton Ticats.
They spot the ball up at the 49. It's a gain of 18 yards and a Hamilton first down. Just the second in the game for the Ticats. Taylor over the middle for McAdoo, and McAdoo gets across midfield and fights his way down to the 54. He actually got some help from K.D. Williams at the 54. Williams drove him all the way down to the 51, and that gave Hamilton the first down.
Boy, they love that Steeltown, don't they? That second effort from the running back. Now, this is a simple read for Steve Taylor. Dump it underneath the zone to his running back. And then McAdoo does the rest, and watch the second effort as he keeps those feet going.
And K.D. Williams helped him along. First and 10 from the 50. Taylor had time. Now he's in trouble. Oh, man, is he in trouble. And he dumps it off. Good thing he did for Lee Knight, because Knight wouldn't have gotten anywhere anyway. Steve Taylor was 25 yards behind the line of scrimmage when he threw that football.
Well, you know, Don Southern feels like Steve Taylor gives him that dimension. He's got the great mobility, and if things break down for his offense, this guy can make it happen on his own. He thinks he's one of the best scrambling quarterbacks in the league.
You know when a quarterback's really in trouble? When he turns his back to the line of scrimmage. When he completely turns his back, you know he's in trouble.
Well, he did the smart thing by throwing it in the dirt. Didn't cost his team at all.
Second and 10. And Taylor from the shotgun. Right at the first down marker for Larry Thompson. And Larry Thompson with his first catch of the night has a first down for the Ticats down to the 37-yard line. Larry Thompson in the last meeting between these two had 8 catches for 275 yards and 3 touchdowns.
As working on Jason Mallett. Jason's going to get a little bit deep on the play, and you know they have to be wary of Larry Thompson after the big game he had against this team last time they played.
Now remember, Mallett plays the corner because Jerron Bolden is out with a shoulder injury, so perhaps look for more of Larry Thompson. First and 10 from the 37. Taylor back in the shotgun. Here comes the rush, and down goes the quarterback. Oh, man, Greg Clark wasn't going to let Steve Taylor get away that time. He dropped him at midfield, a loss of 17 yards.
Well, it was a... Steve Taylor had very little choice. He was going out to his right, but right in his face was Kelvin Smith, Leonard Johnson, and then Greg Clark comes up with a big hit. No chance for Steve Taylor to get that down the field because there was also great coverage.
They actually spot the ball up at the Winnipeg 52-yard line, so it's not nearly as bad.
Greg Clark might stick with 91 if he keeps playing like this.
Jerron Bolden returns to the game for Winnipeg now. Taylor in trouble again, throws it deep, and there's nobody there but the safety man, Daryl Sampson. He was the only player within 20 yards of that football.
Well, there was some miscommunication because Manny Hazard and Earl Winfield were in exactly the same spot. You'll see K.D. Williams coming underneath. Now, really, he's got responsibility of Derek McAdoo, but because McAdoo is blocking, K.D. Williams can take off after the quarterback. He does there and gets the pressure on Steve Taylor.
Well, the Ticat drive, which looked so promising after the completion of Thompson, will end with Paul Osbaldiston punting the football away for a 50-yard average tonight. Off the side of his foot, and this is not going to help him. The ball goes out of bounds at the 30-yard line with 7:57 to play. 17-1, Winnipeg leads it. That was a 22-yard punt. Well, here's the battle for the final playoff spot in the Northern Division. Remember, the 5th place team from the North will go down and play the South. Saskatchewan right now holds down that spot. We talked about the schedule. They've got, though, 2 with Baltimore, 2 with Calgary, and 1 with BC. Ouch.
You know, Saskatchewan, though, they have won the series against Winnipeg. So in case of a tie, Saskatchewan goes in.
First and 10 for the Bombers from their own 30, looking deep. Got a man. Milt Stegall almost made the catch.
But Roger Hennig, the safety, got up to break it up. Milt Stiegel has been Mr. Big Play for the Bombers tonight.
Well, Roger Hennig did a super job of recovering because Reggie Slack had looked him off. He was to the wide side of the field, but then when he saw the ball in the air, he turned around, took off, and just there gets involved in the play to knock that ball out. Reggie Slack knows he had one there because he had looked off the free safety perfectly, but a great recovery by Roger Hennig.
Now from the shotgun on second down. Ticats did a big play from the defense. Slack. Whoa, what a great catch by Gerald Wilcox, and Wilcox has a first down up at the 43-yard line. Gerald Wilcox made a great play to reach back and make that grab.
Those are the type of catches we're used to seeing from Gerald Wilcox. You see the big elbow brace he has on. He opened it against Saskatchewan. Watch him go back across his body, use all his hands, and bring that ball in.
He opened it?
He opened up that elbow, and he's been on antibiotics. Doctor's really concerned that that thing will get swollen. He had to miss the Calgary game, and it's just now starting to get better.
First and 10, and Slack is back in the shotgun. Steps up and hucks it deep. And a battle up the sideline, and he makes the catch. Gerald Wilcox
with the reception.
makes the catch over Gary Lewis, and Lewis is complaining that Wilcox pushed him. But what a play by Gerald Wilcox.
Well, that wasn't scheme. That wasn't making a good read. That was just one-on-one. You got to beat your man, and Gerald Wilcox is going to run the out and up pattern, and the good throw by Reggie Slack to the outside, and then Wilcox just wins the battle for the football on Gary Lewis, who is a good defensive back with 4 interceptions this year. But you'll see the time that Reggie Slack has. Big difference. You can get rid of that football.
A 41-yard gain puts the Bombers down at the 25-yard line. From the shotgun again. Slack sees somewhere to run, and now he's got it to the other side. Slack puts his head down and gets across the 20. A pickup of 6 yards for Slack, who saw a big opening close in a hurry.
And you know, as much as I've seen Reggie Slack play quarterback, I think he's running better than I've ever seen him. We talked about his knee injury. He comes out, doesn't see what he likes coverage-wise downfield, and then takes off, but pretty great mobility for a quarterback who has serious knee problems. A nice gain for his team.
And now it brings up a big play for the Hamilton defense. It's 2nd and 4. The give goes off to Bryant, and that time Jesse Small just tore off Blaze Bryant's helmet, stopping him what would appear to be short of the first down. He needed to get down to the 15-yard line. Looks like they stopped him at about the 17. We saw a helmet come off earlier this year.
Yeah, it was a great hit by Willie Pless. This one's the same by Jesse Small. He cuts underneath the play, and then bang, you see him lose his head right there. Well, I've heard guys say I'm going to knock your head off, but I guess Jesse Small means it literally.
It would appear now that the Bombers are going to gamble. It's 3rd and a long yard. From the 17-yard line. And now we've got play called. What's George Black going to say? We've got too many men here? We may have, what is it, illegal substitution? I'm guessing here, but George is having a long discussion.
I believe it's substitution on Winnipeg.
Well, going off is Blaze Bryant.
Well, he's going off to get his equipment fixed.
His helmet's broken. So they tore his helmet off, and on the play, it was damaged, so now they're fixing his helmet. And so Matt Pierce is coming into the game now for the Bombers, so Blaze Bryant won't be in on this play.
And it's a crucial one for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, especially in this situation where they're likely to run the football, not to have their starting tailback in them.
3rd of the yard. Slack straight ahead, should have it as he got down to about the 15-yard line. And it would appear that he does have a Winnipeg first down, so lots of intrigue on that play, because the Bombers' best running back had to leave on 3rd and a yard.
And they're going to measure it because it was a long yard. You see Blaze Bryant just
trying to figure out what's wrong with his helmet and if he can get back in that football game, but he's going to be close.
And if he got it, he didn't get it by much.
The length of the football.
And about a half a yard he got it, so the Winnipeg drive stays alive. 4:08 to play here in the first half, and it's 17-1 in favor of Winnipeg.
Boy, this is a key play for the key drive for the Hamilton defense. They really need, if they want to get back in this game early and get some momentum back, they really need to hold them to 3 here. It's a huge series for them.
Reggie Slack is having some kind of half. Early movement. Could be a free play. Slack guns it out there for Stiegel, and Stiegel gets down to about the 7-yard line before he's driven back by Hassan Bailey and Don Robinson.
Well, it looked like there was early movement, but I don't see any flags on the field.
They
so
just
got
picked
back.
it up. They just picked it up, and they're indicating offside against Hamilton, which would be the 6th time now the Ticats have been offside in the first half.
Well, there's a combination of reasons for that. One is that you got Hamilton's changes.
Offside, Hamilton, number 96. First down repeated.
Keith Embray,
which is another new guy in the lineup for the Hamilton Ticats, and you see lots of movement up there. Tim Brown was in a little soon, and you saw to the left of your screen Keith Embray jump offside, but those are changes in the lineup for Hamilton. The other thing is good cadence varying from Reggie Slack.
1st and 5 now from the 10. Slack, quick roll. Wilcox makes the catch, goes out of bounds at the 5, and once again, there are flags down on the play. And look at them. Everyone's pointing at the other side, and it is against Hamilton again.
You notice who the two that were pointing, Miles Gurrell and Chris Walby, walked right up on the referee and said, we're that way.
I guess
the penalty.
I guess their opinion carries more weight,
yes,
as it were.
I would say.
Offside, Hamilton number 2. Penalty is declined. First down.
That's unbelievable.
Well, it is for 2 reasons. One is it's Hamilton again, but the other is it's Eric Carter. Now, Eric Carter is the cornerback on the play, and in order for him to go offside, he has to come up in his bump and run position, be inside that 1 yard, but the corner should never be offside.
Boy, Don Sutherland's going to peel the paint off the walls at halftime. I'll guarantee you that. 1st and goal from the 5. They give to Blaze Bryant, and he is into the end zone for the touchdown. Blaze Bryant with his 3rd rushing touchdown of the year, and the Bombers put together another impressive drive, and the Hamilton fans are letting the Ticats and the officials have it.
And that right side of that offensive line for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers is opening up huge holes. You'll see right there to the top of your screen, big Miles Gurrell kicking out his man, and then Rob Hitchcock in the hole by being led up by Chris Johnstone, and Blaze Bryant goes in untouched. But this offensive line right now for Winnipeg is dominating. Blaze Bryant's doing the rest.
Troy Westwood puts the point after up and through, and after surrendering the game's first point, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers have scored 24 unanswered, and the crowd is getting restless at Ivor Wynne Stadium tonight. Well, after a short drive earlier, the Bombers just jammed it down their throat on that one. 9 plays, 80 yards, shoot up 5 minutes on the clock. There were tons of penalties inside the 20, and Blaze Bryant capped it off with the touchdown. 24-1, Winnipeg leads Hamilton.
You know, Winnipeg coming into this game were averaging 20 points a game, so they're already 4 points over their league year average.
The kickoff is taken back at the 13-yard line. And Sam Rogers gets out to about the 32 as Alan Wetmore comes up to make the stop. A 21-yard return as Steve Taylor remains in at quarterback for the Hamilton Ticats. Wonder if we'll see Anthony Calvillo anytime soon.
Well, you know, talking to Don Southern, he wanted Steve Taylor to be a starter, but he said, I still have the same confidence. You see the time of possession.
Wow.
Definitely in Winnipeg's favor, sustaining those drives. And he says, you know, I don't have a problem putting in my Anthony Calvillo, my second quarterback. I haven't lost any confidence in him. We're just going with Steve as the starter. But he'll be in a hurry if it doesn't happen.
First down from the 32. Taylor, look out, backside rush is coming. Taylor throws it to the near side and has his man there, Manny Hazard, who's finally thrown down by Shannon Garrett. But Hazard has a first down up at the 49-yard line.
It was a really nice pattern that Manny Hazard ran, because he ran what's called a out, an up, and an out. And it used to drive defensive backs mad, because you'll see it just at the end as he breaks off, but that was the third move of the pattern. And it's pretty tough for any defensive back to cover a guy that runs 3 moves, but Manny Hazard did a real nice precision pattern there.
Gain was 17, 1st and 10 from the 49. 4 receivers to the wide side of the field, and that's where Taylor's looking. Taylor over the middle, got Manny Hazard again right up in midfield, and he's up to the 54-yard line, and now we've got some pushing and shoving after the whistle. We saw plenty of this between Winnipeg and Calgary last week, and we saw plenty of it last month when Winnipeg met Hamilton.
Shannon Garrett came up, and Darius Watson put a great hit on Manny Hazard there as he caught the ball in that short pattern. There's some frustration right now. You see the Hamilton Ticats are fighting in that playoff spot, and down by this score at this time in the ball game, they're starting to get frustrated already.
And the gain on the play was 7, brings up 2nd down and 3. 2 minutes left to go in the first half. You got to think the Ticats need a score. They give to Derek McAdoo, and he will not get the first down. Stopped at his tracks. Brendan Rodgers got in there along with Greg Clark, and the Bluebirds are out again in Hamilton.
Now there's some late things going on, but you see right now that McAdoo's going to break to the outside, but Brendan Rodgers is now in. Remember, we saw Colin Scribner come in and they sort of changed their defense. Well, they went back to that 3 down linemen and 4 linebackers, substituting Brendan Rodgers.
And we've got a flag after the play.
Yeah, there's some extracurricular going on.
Major foul, unnecessary roughness. Winnipeg number 37. First down.
The call goes against Kelvin Smith, the second-year man out of Florida State, who's taking Doug Hawkins' spot. Big penalty, because on the play, Derek McAdoo had been stopped short of the first down. Instead, it'll be a Ticat first down at the Winnipeg 39.
Well, sometimes you just need a break. This could be the break that the Hamilton Ticats were looking for, and you know Cal Murphy feels the same way. You don't want to give a team that's down an inch. They just did there.
Winnipeg, the 2nd most penalized team in the CFL. First down from the shotgun. Taylor straight ahead, lots of room. Steve Taylor still going inside the 25 and down to the 22-yard line. Now, we talked about Mike Ferragelli's offense. One thing Mike Ferragelli loves is a running quarterback.
You see Steve Taylor right here. He's going to take off right up here. Now, this is a design play on the quarterback draw, and like you said, Gordon, Mike Ferragelli loves to have his quarterback run. Steve Taylor's one of the best in the league at scrambling. He gets a big play for his team.
First down to the 22-yard line. Now Taylor. Quick throw underneath for Larry Thompson inside the 20 and down to about the 19-yard line. Tackle made on the play by Greg Clark. But mention how Ferragelli loves a running quarterback, and we talked about that 1989 Edmonton team that rushed the ball for more than 3,400 yards that year. Tracy Ham, a big part of that, had more than 1,300 yards rushing, a record for CFL quarterbacks.
I remember chasing him around.
But you won the last game, which is the big part. Game was just 3 on that play. It's 2nd down, 7. Taylor flags are down. He gets the throw away, and he was looking there to get it to Barry Rose, but it falls incomplete. And now we'll see what the flag is all about. Remember, it was 2nd and 7.
Well, the flag is over at the wide side of the field where you'd see pass interference.
There's actually 2 flags down, one at the 10 and one at the 20. Illegal contact downfield is the call against Winnipeg. So as much as penalties hurt the Ticat defense on the last drive, they're hurting the Bombers here.
Yeah, I think you saw, I think Jerome Bolden there was guilty of grabbing Larry Thompson on the play. The officials just sorting it out, but it looks like there was some contact downfield.
Offside, Winnipeg number 26. Penalty is declined. Illegal contact on an eligible receiver, Winnipeg number 26. Penalty is accepted. First down.
A double dip on Darius Watson.
Well, here's Jerome Bolden. Darius Watson, you'll see right there, is the one who actually did the grabbing on Larry Thompson. Larry pleads his case to the official, gets the flag, and then turns around and tries to help him to play.
First and goal, Hamilton, just inside the 10. Here comes the rush. Taylor has time.
to the end zone. Touchdown! Barry Rose! His first CFL touchdown, and the Ticats finally have a major.
Exactly what the doctor ordered for Don Southern in this offense to get some momentum back. When you lose containment as a defense, you're dead. And this is what happens in this play because Steve Taylor uses his athletic ability to get outside, and then it's just a free-for-all in the end zone. Everyone's scrambling to get open. You can't cover for that long, and Barry Rose finds the opening, gets the touchdown.
Paulus Balderson hasn't missed a point after all year long, and his streak remains intact. The Ticats have finally scored 7, and it's now 24-8, Winnipeg leading.
Welcome back to the CFL Control. Coming up at McDonald's halftime, Cal Murphy, the head coach of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, will be my guest live. San Antonio and Ottawa, they will do battle tomorrow. We'll have a preview in just a few moments, and Gordon Glenn will give us their first half thoughts. I know Cal won't be too pleased giving up that late touchdown, but he has to be pleasantly surprised with the way his team came out in the initial half.
Thanks very much, Darren. Barry Rose, the first-year man out of Wisconsin, Stevens Point. And their team name is, Glenn?
No idea.
No, that's not it.
No.
They're the Pointers.
The Pointers.
Yeah.
Oh, I should have got that one.
They play against teams like Wisconsin Green Bay, the Flying Phoenix. Paulus Balderson's kickoff goes out of bounds up around the 30-yard line. They'll have to do it all over again. Well, that was some kind of drive by the Hamilton Ticats just when Hamilton needed it. Steve Taylor was 4 for 4 for 36 yards and a touchdown in all. The drive covered 78 yards. 2 first downs in that drive by penalties kept it alive.
Yeah, it was a really good drive for this Hamilton offense and this Hamilton team because they didn't want to go.
Hamilton number 3.
They did not want to go into the half down 24-1. This gives them some momentum back, and now Paulus Balderson will have to kick it off again.
From his own 30-yard line. 1 minute and 1 second left to play here in the opening half. The Bombers had scored 24 unanswered points. Milt Stegall dancing his way up the sideline. Stegall gets all the way up to the 50-yard line. What a return. He gets 17 yards on the return after a 47-yard kickoff. And the Bombers will have good field position with just under a minute to play.
Reggie Slack's going to come in and try and get some more points. You know, at 55 seconds, he's got lots of time to come in. And at midfield already after the nice return by Stegall, lots of time to get his team down in range for some more points.
You know my 2 pet peeves are?
What's that?
Well, traffic would be number 1, but draw plays on 2nd and 20 and kickoffs that go out of bounds.
And actually, Don Southern said that's one of the reasons he struggled on special teams. They're not getting the ball where he wants it on those kickoffs.
On first down, Slack from the shotgun. The Bombers are looking for points. And he completes it over there for Tim Daniel, who fights his way across midfield and gets to the Hamilton 54-yard line with 48 seconds to play in the opening half. Any questions about Reggie Slack's arm were answered very quickly in his CFL career. Anyone who crept up and tried to poach on a football had a rocket go right by him.
Well, he's one of those quarterbacks that if you can give him time in the pocket and you have great coverage on him downfield, he'll still get the ball there because he puts a dart out there. It's hard to cover even if you're right beside your receiver.
Gain was 6. Slack. Quick drop and up along the sidelines for Wilcox, who makes the catch at the 51-yard line. That will leave him a yard short of a Winnipeg first down. 26 seconds to play here. And so if the Bombers elect to gamble, they'll have to go straight ahead and then call timeout to stop the clock.
And I believe they are. It looks like right now Cal Murphy's sending out his short yardage team. He's gonna get a measurement. He knows he's short, but he gets this measurement just to buy his time. So he has a little more time on the sideline to figure out whether or not he wants to go for it or either try the long field goal or punt it out of bounds.
Yeah, I don't think a 58-yard field goal try is in the cards right now for Troy Westwood.
Well, the longest one in history is 60.
How do you know that, Glenn?
Well, Dave Ridgway happens to hold that record.
Who held for him, Glenn?
Well, I was happened to be holding, and it was against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers in Taylor Field. A little bit of a wind at Dave's back.
What'd you have for breakfast, Glenn?
Well, I happened to eat my Wheaties that morning and made the hold of my life.
You know what frightens me is that you remember every detail of every Dave Ridgway field goal, which really indicates to me that it was maybe you were underutilized in your CFL career.
No, you know what it is? Dave just continually reminded me of all his kicks, so they're embedded in my memory.
Now, it's interesting. We talk about Miles Gurrell and his consecutive games, how many games he's played. He trails kickers, and there's a big controversy about that.
Yes.
Slack straight ahead. Oh, man, he got about 4. He got down to about the 46-yard line. But it's interesting because Miles Gurrell trails only one player on the CFL's all-time games planes list. It's Lou Pasaglia. The question is, Pasaglia is a position player. His position is kicker, but Gurrell plays a much more demanding position. On first down, Slack slipped a little bit, still got it away. Tim Daniel dropped the football. It's picked up by Rob Hitchcock, and Hitchcock has a fumble recovery down to the 40. It's ruled a catch and a fumble. 10 seconds to go in the first half, and the Ticats have a chance for more points. Doesn't like it one little bit.
Well, this is what's going to happen. If you go for points at the end of the half, you're aggressive, and everyone loves that, but the opposite can happen as well. And right now, you'll see Daniel making the catch, the big hit by Carter. The ball comes out, and then Hitchcock is a nice job of straddling that sideline and staying in bounds, and it was actually Eric Carter, his own man, who tackled him, or he might have gone for further yardage. Now, Hamilton, 1 first down, they're in good field goal range.
Maybe take a shot at the end zone here, too. Taylor, lots of time. Got him over the top. Winfield's open. Earl Winfield, touchdown! Oh! No look now. The Tabbies are back. 40-yard touchdown for Earl Winfield. His 10th touchdown catch of the year.
Talk about having your strategy offensively backfire. The turnover, and then one play later, Steve Taylor throws a perfect pass to Earl Winfield, who had got in behind the coverage, and comes up with a big catch. But wow.
Earl Winfield with his 77th career touchdown catch. It ties him for 14th place on the CFL's all-time list. He's even with Ray Elgard. Paulus Ballison puts the point after up and through, and the Ticats now trail 24-15 with 3 seconds to go in the first half. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers talked about turnovers and how important it's been for them. The Bombers get burned on a turnover.
And this is how it happens. You see number 1, he's nothing fancy, just straight up and outrun the defensive back in Ken Burris, and comes up with a big catch, but the throw by Taylor was the key. He steps up, lots of poise, and fires a strike to Earl Winfield. And talk about having a lift heading into the locker room at halftime. Wow, that's 14 unanswered points.
I'll tell you what this has done. It has saved the Ticats from what almost certainly would have been a record-setting halftime speech by Don Southern. I mean, the chair record would have been broken. I mean, the cup record would have been broken. The water cooler record would have been broken.
Well, you know, Don Southern's going to go into that locker room. He probably still will, you know, let his team know that we haven't played very well in this first half. Yes, we've come back late. We haven't played very well. We have to play better in the second half. We expect to win this football game.
And on the other side, Cal Murphy is still talking to the officials about that fumble by Tim Daniel.
Well, now some people are going to be second-guessing Cal's decision to go for points late in the half. I think it's a good decision by Cal, but unfortunately, that's the game. Sometimes it backfires on you.
Osbaldiston with the squib kickoff, and it finally did roll out of bounds. Whoa. It was kind of a seeing-eye kick up the sideline, and it finally did go out of bounds, so they have to do it again. That's the second time Osbaldiston has put a
illegal
kickoff out of bounds.
Hamilton, number 3.
You know, people will look at Osbaldiston and say, well, why doesn't he just kick it? I mean, there's all that field to just kick it down the field, but
He is told by Don Southern to angle it to the corner. What the coaches want is that ball to be between the sidelines and the numbers. The reason for that is that it makes the coverage team have less area to cover. They can get down to that corner. It's tougher to get a return out of it. Now, if you push that limit too far, you're going to lose it. Goes out of bounds.
Kick the ball. You know?
Well, you know, it sounds easy, but to hit that target, you know, you're talking about maybe 12 yards in there. You know, it's a tough kick.
It's like in baseball when you got a hitter on 2 strikes. Don't nibble. Throw strikes. Hey, Gizmo isn't in this game. Kick it away. And that's exactly what Osbaldiston does. In fact, he kicked it over the Bombers' head. This could be another point for the Ticats. Stiegel is able to bring it out. And now he'll simply go out of bounds as time expires in a wild first half. An 85-yard kickoff by Osbaldiston almost led to more Ticat points. Hamilton scored first. Winnipeg got the next 24. The Ticats came back with the last 14. And we've got ourselves set up for a great second half. 24-15 is the score in favor of Winnipeg. Stand by now for our McDonald's halftime report.
McDonald's Halftime, presented by your local McDonald's restaurant. Here's Darren Detition.
Welcome to McDonald's Halftime. The Hamilton Tiger Cats coming off rather convincing losses to both the San Antonio Texans and the BC Lions, trying to bounce back. They're getting their act together late in the second half. How about the Winnipeg Blue Bombers? On the road so far this year, they have yet to win a game. They are 0-7. Also on the road this year, their defense is giving up 49 points per game. Even though Cal Murphy will be a little upset with the way they played in the latter part of the first half, you know that he's got to feel somewhat pleased, definitely, to have the lead 24-15. And joining us right now is the head coach of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers and the general manager, Cal. Thanks for joining us at McDonald's Halftime. We appreciate it. The team kind of fell apart a little bit down the stretch there.
Well, we get a stupid penalty, and when you get a stupid penalty, you get points scored on you. That's all it amounts to.
What about the decision to go for it with time running out? Should you have not grounded out? You guys were up 24-8, yet you go for it.
Well, I don't agree with that. I think the name of the game is points, and the point is if he doesn't fumble the football, we're going to be in field goal position with one more first down, and that's what we're after. Because you can never sit back and rest on a lead. I think in Canadian football, you got to go after it.
And you guys did go after him pretty good in the first half. You guys are still up 24-15. It's not like you're looking at a deficit.
No, we're not.
All, I mean, things are looking pretty good heading into the second half.
Well, we're still in it, and we're playing hard, and you know, we've lost Andre Allen, the linebacker, and we've had to make some changes and whatnot, but you know, we're still in it, and we're ahead 9 points, and they still got to come to us, and but we're going to have to play good, tough football the rest of the football game.
You betcha. You mentioned some of the changes. How about Milt Stiegel? You were talking about a short field. He gave you a great return. He looks pretty good out there.
Yes, he is. He just missed on a long pass up the seam as well. He gives us. He's got awfully good speed, and he gets up on people, and he does have good return ability as well.
Hey, Coach, this is a big, big game for you. If you guys can come up with a win here, combined with your schedule down the stretch, as opposed to Saskatchewan's, you have to feel pretty good about your playoff chances.
Well, this is a very important football game for us, because if we can beat these people by 4 points, it still gives us a shot at 4th place.
Coach, it's always a pleasure to talk to you. We appreciate you joining us at McDonald's Halftime. Good luck in the second half and the stretch run towards the playoffs.
Okay, thanks a lot, Darren. Bye now.
Thanks very much, Cal.
Okay, thank you.
Time now for a little labor strife, and while I suppose you could call it posturing, it very well may prove effective. Dan Ferroni, president of the CFL Players Association, wants the new collective bargaining agreement ratified, and soon. According to Ferroni, without the new deal, the CFL would have to revert to its old postseason format of East versus West, but folks, that is very improbable. Hey, good news for the Edmonton Eskimos. Downtown Eddie Brown, who came over to the team from the Memphis Mad Dogs a couple of weeks ago, is finally fit enough to play this Sunday against the Lions. Apparently damaged at the time of the trade, Brown had 2 great seasons in Edmonton in '93 and '94, scoring 30 touchdowns. This year, his production has dropped off, scoring only 2 TDs. Now, speaking of receivers trying to reestablish themselves, Gerald Elfin, let go by the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, was gobbled up by Baltimore. He will dress this weekend in Saskatchewan as a backup for the Stallions. This came after Baltimore lost receiver Reggie Perry due to a right knee injury. He's going to be gone 4 to 6 weeks, while fellow receiver Robert Clark also went down due to injury. He should return to action next week. The acquisition of Alphen was an emergency measure. What we'll do is we'll take ourselves a short break, but when McDonald's halftime returns, Leaf and John will set up tomorrow's tilt in Ottawa. We leave you with a look at the CFL's Ironmen. Stay tuned. We're back in just a few moments. Welcome back to McDonald's halftime. You know, just 2 points up on the Birmingham Barracudas and the Memphis Mad Dogs. The jockeying in the South Division continues for the San Antonio Texans. Tomorrow they are in Ottawa. It's a game that they really want to win. They'd improved to 9-5 on the season. They really don't have a chance of catching the Baltimore Stallions, but as aforementioned, the Barracudas and Dogs are hot on their heels. We'll have the contest for you starting at 1:30 Eastern Time. On paper, this one's a mismatch. With their thoughts on the contest, Leif Penderson and John Wells have this preview.
Well, Darren, it has been difficult to find optimistic things to say about the Ottawa Rough Riders most of this season, but there are a couple of positives going into this game. First of all, they've had a couple of weeks to get ready for San Antonio, and secondly, this is likely the best offense that Jim Gilstrap has been able to put on the field all season long.
I think it is, John. I think the big reason why is Michael Richardson, their fine running back, will play tomorrow afternoon. I mean, this is not a high-scoring offensive machine. They need a running game, and hopefully Michael Richardson will give that to them tomorrow. I think also the 2 weeks, as you mentioned, off will help Andre Ware learn the offensive scheme, learn about his receivers, guys like Ray Alexander and Odessa Turner. So I expect to see some pretty good things offensively from Ottawa tomorrow.
Then on the other side of the ball, you've got the Texans offense led by David Archer, and this has been a very hot offense in the last 3 games in particular. They've really put some big points on the board.
Yeah, and what I like about them is they have the terrific running game. I mean, you look at their 3 running backs, Mike Saunders, Troy Mills, and Tony Burst. I mean, these 3 guys are quality running backs, so you couple them with a pretty solid passing game, David Archer at quarterback. I mean, this is an offense that has really rounded into fine form.
And the defense has really picked up slack for the Texans lately. 13 turnovers in the last 2 games. It has really turned into a very dominating defense.
Yeah, it sure has. They call themselves the bounty hunters down in Texas now, and I don't think it's any coincidence that since Maurice Miller has returned at middle linebacker that this defense has gotten even better and better. And, you know, he's had 3 touchdowns in the 4 games he's played at middle linebacker, defensive touchdowns. So this is a team that is really hitting its stride at the right time of the year.
Should be a pretty good crowd on hand here at Frank Clair Stadium tomorrow because it's Youth Day, and if you're under 16, you get in for $10. We should have brought the kids to this one.
Yeah, we should have.
Riders and the Texans will have it for you tomorrow.
Thanks very much, guys. We're going to take ourselves another break. Coming up next, we will recap the game story, and Gordon Glenn will give us their first half thoughts. The Bombers lead it 24-15 at the half. Taylor, though, with a couple of late touchdowns. Stay tuned. We're back in a moment.
McDonald's Halftime, brought to you by your local McDonald's restaurant.
Welcome back to McDonald's Halftime. You know, special teams are integral. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers haven't had good special teams all season long, but they're getting a good performance by Milt Stegall. He's part of our game story. 122 return yards. Taylor, 11 for 19, 159 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Reggie Slack, also what a fine first half, 14 for 19, 1 TD, also scored another one. The time of possession, huge advantage for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Gordon Glenn are standing by at Ivor Wynn. And gentlemen, I talked to Cal at the half. I asked him about his position to go with the football and be aggressive offensively. He defended it.
Well, you have to be, Darren, I think, but the big problem for Winnipeg and Hamilton this year has been turnovers. The league keeps a stat called giveaway takeaway. Basically, it's the turnovers you get against the turnovers you give. Being plus in that is obviously important. Winnipeg is -10 right now, so they've turned the ball over 10 times more than they've gotten it back. Hamilton is -19. Don Sutherland said to us yesterday he's kept track. The last 20 Grey Cup winners have all been +18 or better, so turnovers are so important.
Well, we've seen both teams in this game, Gord, get touchdowns off of turnovers, and I think the key to this game is going to come down to who hangs on to the ball and who keeps those drives going and sustained. The other thing they got to watch, penalties.
What a big explosion, though, for the Ticats at the end of this half. They got Hamilton back in the football game. Darren?
Very much, guys. Momentum is definitely on their side. We don't know what is on his head. We do know it's 24-15 at the half. Stay tuned. We'll take a short break. When we come back, we'll kick off the third.
2 turnovers each. Each team had a turnover lead directly to a touchdown. But think back, with 1 minute and 58 seconds left in the first half, Winnipeg led this game 24-1. The Ticats score 14 points in the final 2 minutes of the opening half.
Yeah, but I'm with Cal Murphy. I mean, you got to go for points.
Yeah.
In the CFL, you have to continually try and keep getting points on the board because so much scoring happens so quickly here, and Steve Taylor just took advantage. If it backfires on you, get the ball back, Steve Taylor, in one pass. All of a sudden, it's 24-15, and we got a good ball game.
And the quarterback comparison through the first half, Slack has not been picked off. Taylor threw 1 interception, but he also threw 2 touchdown passes, and what a great throw it was to Earl Winfield for the final touchdown of that opening half. Steve Taylor, by the way, we talked about Mike Farragelli being the new offensive coordinator here in Hamilton. Taylor was a member of the Edmonton Eskimos back in 1989 when Farragelli was the offensive coordinator there. That team went 16-2 in the regular season, but Glenn, what happened to them in the playoffs?
Well, they happened to lose to a team that was wanted it just a little bit more.
Oh, yeah? Who was their safety?
But, you know, Steve Taylor came in and has played underneath Doug Flutie and Tracy Ham. He knows how to scramble. He knows how to play that kind of offense.
Troy Westwood kicks it away, and this is Rogers from the 13-yard line. Sam Rogers has a seam up the middle, but just gets tripped up as he gets up to the 35-yard line. So Hamilton, with all that momentum, gets a 23-yard return, and right away the Ticats will go to work on offense. And Cal Murphy was laughing and grinning when his team was up 24-1, but now it's that Cal that we're a little more used to seeing. The kind of guy that can really bark, and look at Troy Westwood get it from his head coach.
Well, that's the same scenario. He's trying to get that ball in a certain spot on kickoffs to help his coverage team. His kicker didn't give it to him that time.
And the Ticats begin 1st and 10 from their own 35-yard line. From the shotgun, they wanted to give it to Derek McAdoo, I think. And now Taylor's looking over the top for Winfield, and Winfield almost made the catch. Earl Winfield got tangled up with the Winnipeg defender. I believe it was Darius Watson that got in there. And usually in those kind of battles, Earl Winfield's going to win it.
Well, he's a master at just giving that little push at the right time. You see the tail end, you see that hand, he just gives the push, comes over top of Burris, but Burris had such great position that it was going to be a circus catch for Earl Winfield, and he just can't come up with it.
It was indeed Ken Burris, so it'll bring up 2nd and 10 for the Ticats, who go deep on the first play of the second half. 3 receivers wide side of the field. Taylor looks back to the backside. Rose had it for a moment, but Barry Rose, who has his first CFL touchdown in this game, couldn't squeeze it. It'll be 3 and out for the Hamilton Ticats.
Yeah, tough catch for Barry Rose. That was thrown low and away, and Steve Taylor had to throw it there because Darius Watson was breaking to the inside of Rose, and Steve Taylor had to put a dart to the outside. It would have been a real tough catch to be made by Barry Rose.
Wilbert Biggins and Milt Stiegel are back to receive the punt. Remember, Stiegel has a 78-yard punt return in this game. And perhaps that's why Osbaldiston's trying to kick it away from him. Great kick down to Wilbert Biggins at the 30, and he gets no further. And there's an injured Hamilton Ticat on the play after a return of just 2. Brad Elberg is the injured Hamilton Ticat, and this would be disastrous for Elberg, who just came back 2 weeks ago from a very serious foot injury he suffered in the preseason. Elberg, a former All-Canadian running back at Queen's University, was a member of their Vanier Cup team. And it would appear that Elberg is in a great deal of pain.
Looks like he's holding his shoulder, but what a job he did on that punt coverage team. He came down and inside a block, he worked off it and still came up and made the tackle, and in doing so hurt himself. You're going to see it right here. He's going to come right down the middle of your screen, and right there he puts the hit. It looks like he just jammed his shoulder down into the turf. You hold that arm like that, it usually means that your shoulder's been popped up out of the socket. Hopefully, it's just a bruise for Brad Elberg.
Well, Elberg just got on the roster for the Hamilton Ticats, does not have a carry or a reception for the Hamilton Ticats yet this season. Tomorrow, John Wells and Leif Pedersen will be at Frank Clair Stadium in Ottawa for the San Antonio Texans and the Ottawa Rough Riders. 1:30 Eastern, 10:30 Pacific.
And that's Mike Saunders right there. And Mike Saunders just 250 yards short of 1,000 yards in 1995. Ottawa hopes he doesn't get them all in that game.
And the Ottawa Rough Riders at 2-11 are still mathematically in the hunt for a playoff spot, but realistically they're talking about next year. As Brad Elberg is just now getting up, and we'll get your report as soon as we can, but Brad Elberg has been a hard luck story for the Hamilton Ticats this season. A native of Regina who did not go to the University of Saskatchewan. He's recruited by Queens, went there instead. Saskatchewan drafted him, but then released him. That's the Rough Riders, right?
That's right. He was released. He was in training camp. Good athlete, very competitive person. He was released by Don Matthews, and then Hamilton picked him up, and he's finally getting it back, and now it looks like hopefully he'll be back from that shoulder.
1st and 10 Bombers from their own 26. Slack, quick drop, now brings it down. Flags are down as he sends it out to Wilcox up at the 37-yard line. Wilcox right at the first down marker, but there are flags on the play, and if it's offside, it's the 7th time Hamilton's been called.
It looked like it was offside Hamilton for sure.
No, procedure Winnipeg.
Nothing is for sure. Nothing is for sure. So obviously the Hamilton offender was drawn offside. I believe it was Jesse Small, and obviously he was drawn.
Procedure, Winnipeg number 85. First down repeated.
They call Milt Stiegel, the slot back, for being offside, so that'll move them back to the 22-yard line. It'll be first down, 15 yards to go for the Bombers.
Stiegel just didn't time that roll to the line of scrimmage. You're allowed to be moving forward in the Canadian Football League. Just didn't time it.
But you can't go over the line before the ball snaps.
No.
1st and 15. Quick drop for Slack and incomplete for Wilcox. He had Don Robinson on him, but Wilcox wasn't able to squeeze the football.
Well, Wilcox mad at himself. A catch he should have made. He's made some big catches in this football game, though, and that's just one that slipped through his fingers. You see the distribution for Reggie Slack, getting the ball to his wideout and Daniel a few times, and Wilcox been the #1 target.
Now 2nd and 15, and the crowd in Hamilton is right back into it after the Ticats surge late in the first half. Slack from the shotgun. Wants to go deep, can't find a receiver. Now he's off and running. Got a long way to go, and he won't get there. Stopped up short by Hitchcock and Campbell. Reggie Slack comes up a good 5 yards short of a Winnipeg first down, and we'll see Bob Cameron in the Winnipeg punting unit.
Boy, Rob Hitchcock and Hassan Bailey play this perfectly. Now, initial time for Reggie Slack, and then when he scrambles, it's always that in-between time. When do you come out of your coverage, and when do you got to make sure that quarterback is over the line of scrimmage? You see 7, Hassan Bailey there. He times it perfectly, holds Reggie Slack short.
Report from the Hamilton bench, Brad Elberg has a bruised shoulder, but should be back. Bob Cameron having another great night punting the football. Sam Rogers is the lone man back for Hamilton. Rogers from the 47-yard line. Flags are down, and Rogers is pushed out of bounds at the 52-yard line. Appears to be no yards. A 33-yard punt, a return of 5. 24-15. Winnipeg leads Hamilton on the CFL Live.
CFL Live, brought to you in part by NGK Spark Plugs, the spark of genius. And by Dodge Trucks, Canada's truck stop.
Back live at Iverwin Stadium in Hamilton, where Brad Elberg has that dinged left shoulder, but hopes to get back in the game, and you see him indicating that he will soon be. No yards gives the Hamilton Ticats a first down across midfield, and that time it was simply a case of bowling the ball straight ahead on a strange-looking rugby play there, Glenn.
That was definitely an audible at the line by Steve Taylor. He obviously saw some sort of gap up there in that defensive line, thought he'd just take the ball and go straight ahead with it.
Game was 4 at 2nd and 6 as Mike McCarthy and Mike Farragella look up.
Wonder if that was a new Mike Farragelli play.
I think we've seen the last of it. 2nd and 6. Taylor had a man for a moment, but Barry Rose can't make the catch and took a whack at the end of the play from K.D. Williams. Hard to tell if that pass was intended for Rose or Earl Winfield.
Well, it's layered out patterns. Both players running the out at different depths. Earl Winfield was at about 10 yards. Rose was at about 7. They were in the same line of vision for the quarterback, Steve Taylor, but Steve Taylor, either he couldn't decide on who to throw to or slightly overthrew one or underthrew the other.
Paul Osbaldiston is on to try a field goal of 51 yards. It would be his longest of the season. He's 1 for 3 outside the 50 this year. Paul Osbaldiston kicked a game-winning field goal the last time these two teams met. From the 51, Ozzie puts it up, but not nearly up enough. And Boyko watches it bounce around in the end zone. He'll gladly concede the single. That will bring the Hamilton Ticats within 8, trailing 24-16. Well, this is a historic rivalry between these two teams. Winnipeg and Hamilton have met in the Grey Cup more than any other teams in CFL history. And one of the most famous meetings is Don Sutherland's most memorable game. The 62 Grey Cup. There's Don Sutherland right there, number 22, a defensive back and kicker for the Hamilton Ticats. The 62 Grey Cup is best known for the fog that rolled in at CNE Stadium, and with 9.5 minutes to play in the fourth quarter, the game had to be postponed. They played the final 9.5 minutes the next day. Don Sutherland said that when he and Garney Hanley were trying to return kicks in that game, they had to get down on all fours and watch for legs coming towards them because they couldn't see the football. Here it's 1st and 10 for the Ticats, up at the 45. Slack has Gerald Wilcox. Wilcox gets out of bounds up at midfield, which is about where he needed to be for the Winnipeg first down. But Don Sutherland talked about that game and said there was just no way you could throw the ball. Guys were getting hit in the back of the head with the ball because they couldn't see it coming.
And how about the tackle technique by Don Sutherland in that little clip?
That was a little aggressive.
Yeah, a little hog tie and throw to the ground. I mean,
hey, he played for Woody Hayes at Ohio State. They don't play nice there.
And I just went to the Hall of Fame yesterday, and I, of course, saw Don Sutherland, Football Hall of Fame.
Are you in there?
Not yet.
Well, you were in there yesterday. 1st and 10 from midfield. Slack, lots of time, has an open man, but it's picked off. Intercepted by Derek Greer. And Greer still going across midfield down to the 52-yard line. His 5th interception of the year.
Well, Derek Greer played the 3-deep zone defense perfectly. He's going to be the outside deep defender in the coverage. And just at the last minute, he's going to come out of his zone and break on the football. Now, that's exactly how you play zone defense, because you read the quarterback's eyes. When he delivers the ball, that's when you make your break.
Major foul, face mask, Winnipeg number 60, after the interception. First down.
And Dave Ancona gets called for a face mask at the end of it, so move the ball all the way down to the Winnipeg 38-yard line. And Derek Greer with the interception. Hamilton comes into this week with 23 on the year, second only to Edmonton.
See Reggie Slack getting the headphones on right now. He didn't even see Derek Greer sitting in that zone.
1st and 10 Ticats. Option. They flip it out for McAdoo, and McAdoo across the 35 and down to the 32-yard line. Steve Taylor was an option quarterback at the University of Nebraska, but you don't often see that play in the pros.
Well, you don't see it very often because you don't want to get your quarterback killed. And a lot of times, the technique defensively is to knock the quarterback right out. This time, Robert Presbury just plays along the line of scrimmage, feathers it out, it's called, make sure the quarterback pitches it, and then hustles down to run down McAdoo.
Gain was 6, 2nd and 4. 3 receivers to the wide side of the field. Taylor's under pressure. Brendan Rodgers is on the run. Taylor still looking, and finally gets knocked out of balance hard up at the 35-yard line, and Taylor spun awkwardly to avoid the hit of Kelvin Smith, but he comes up well short of the first down. In fact, he loses a couple of yards on the play.
Well, the play's designed to go back to the weak side to Earl Winfield, but he's covered, so Taylor has to take off to his right, and Brendan Rodgers is in chase. Of course, Rodgers replacing Kelvin Smith in the lineup. Taylor outruns him, and then you saw right there at the end of the play how he came down awkwardly on that knee, and boy, it looked from here like he was hurt, but he's back up, walking back in there, so he's okay.
Paulus Ballison now from the 43-yard line with a field goal try. Outside the 40 this year, he's 11 of 17. This time a much better kick by Osbaldiston, but he pushed it wide right. So Osbaldiston with a couple of goals here in the second half. 2 points the Ticats have on Aussie misses, 24-17. Hamilton within a touchdown with 9:01 to play here in the third quarter. Stay tuned at the conclusion of this game for the TSN Turning Point, brought to you by Apple Auto Glass, guaranteed the pick of the crop from coast to coast.
Properly installed windshield could keep a roof from collapsing. That's another reason Apple Auto Glass only uses the Bond for Life installation system. Protect what really matters. Apple Auto Glass.
There's Paul Osbaldiston from Oldham, England. One of several players in this game who was born in England, so was Gerald Wilcox. He was born over there. Ozzy's missed a couple, and he heard it from the fans as soon as he did.
Yeah, fans got on Ozzy a little bit, but you know, he's sitting there concentrating because he knows this game could come down to him. He's missed a couple, but he's got to keep his concentration.
I know it's not an official stat, but in the field goals that matter category, he's pretty good.
He sure is.
Hey, and the Ticats are within a touchdown now. Winnipeg has the ball, though, 1st and 10 at its own 36. And the give goes to Blaze Bryant, and Bryant gets out across the 40 to the 42-yard line. Mike Campbell came up to make the stop.
Well, they're continually running to the right side of that offensive line. Miles Gurrell and Kevin Robson over there. And, of course, when it's the wide side of the field, it's Rob Hitchcock at the strong side linebacker position. So, like we said earlier in the game, they're going to run at Hitchcock and see how he does tackling the running back and taking on those big guards and tackles.
2nd and 4. Back to the ground to Blaze Bryant. Bryant gets bounced around, gets out across the 45, which is about where he needed to be. He may be about a half-yard short of a Winnipeg first down.
They're going to measure it, and it's going to be another decision for Cal Murphy. It's going to be awful close. This one will be so close that I don't think it'll be much of a decision.
No, about 6 inches short of a first down. We've talked about Mike Farragelli being the offensive coordinator. You see Mike Kelly upstairs for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. And if Mike looks like he always has a headache this year, it's because he does.
Yes.
It's because he generally does have a headache. 6 different quarterbacks, 20 different receivers, injuries to the offensive line.
And Cal Murphy yelling at him throughout each game.
And he listens to Cal for 60 minutes at the other end of that headset. Goes straight ahead. I don't know if he got there at first. We'll see where they spot the ball. If you want to know what it's like wearing a headset listening to Cal Murphy, you know the old 2 tin cans tied together by a string? Well, put the can to your head and then take the other can and hit it with a hammer for about an hour. That's what it sounds like.
Well, it's been a frustrating year for this offensive football team, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, but the bright side of it for Winnipeg and their fans is that they still have a great shot to not only win this game, but stay in the playoff race.
Bombers come into this game last in the league in average yards per game. And they got the first down, now at their own 47. Slack up for Wilcox, and he was covered very well by Gary Lewis, and Wilcox unable to make the catch as Gerald Wilcox was wearing Gary Lewis like a coat.
Well, this is called the hot read. What happens is if the linebacker doesn't widen, you see 52 Tim Brown doesn't get out there, Wilcox just slants in automatically, and definitely a ball he should have caught. That's the second in a row that Gerald Wilcox has dropped right through his hands. Good strike by Reggie Slack, so he needs to come up with one for his quarterback.
Now 3 receivers to the near side of the field on 2nd and 10. Slack had time. Now he's running, and he won't get there. What a play by Rob Hitchcock to stand his ground and stop Reggie Slack for a gain of 3. It'll be 3rd and 7, and the Bombers will have to punt.
Well, it was a super play by Rob Hitchcock for 2 reasons. One, a great tackle, but the other was one of those times he had to make a decision. He's in zone coverage right now. He's back in his zone. When do you come out? Well, now he commits and puts the big hit on Reggie Slack and knocks him down. But you see Wilcox having his problems getting down the field. Some jamming by Gary Lewis going on, borderline pass interference, but if it's not called, it's no penalty.
Sam Rogers is back deep to receive this kick from Bob Cameron. It was a high snap, but Cameron gets a beauty away. Rogers from the 14. And he ran right into the waiting arms of Shannon Garrett and Alan Wetmore. So the Ticats will have poor field position when we come back. Well, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers are kind of like the little girl with the curl. When they're good, they're great, but when they're bad, look out. In their 4 wins, the Bombers have allowed an average of 19 points a game, but in their 10 losses, they're averaging 46.7 points against per game. And think about more than 60 given up to Shreveport. Edmonton went over 60 on them. They've given up some big numbers this year.
Well, they're giving up 104 yards per game along the ground, which is 11th in the league. And you know Cal Murphy wants to shore up that run defense, especially since we're heading into the playoff run, and you know it's going to start getting cold, and a lot of teams will start running the ball more. So Cal Murphy definitely wants to shore up the run.
You know, when a lot of people go to games, they leave tickets for people that are special to them. Well, when Cal Murphy comes to Hamilton, he leaves tickets for the people that saved his life. The medical staff from the University of Western Ontario who did the heart transplant surgery on him in 1992. Ticats start at their own 16, 1st and 10. Option again for McAdoo. This time it works much better. Oh, McAdoo up and over to the 25-yard line.
Oh, what a hit by a free safety coming up and helping out in the run support. It starts out really nice. Daryl Sampson put the hit on him, but starts out to be a really nicely developed play. McAdoo gets outside of Greg Clark, who was forcing it, and then watch the safety come up and lower the boom. McAdoo goes over top. It's awful tough in the open field to make a tackle on a running back, and Daryl Sampson does a real nice job of run support.
You think Daryl Sampson could hit? Ask C.J. Davis of Edmonton. Daryl Sampson hit broke his jaw and knocked out 6 of his teeth. 2nd and short. And they give to McAdoo again, and he ran into a brick wall at the 25-yard line. Now, Leonard Johnson was there, so was Greg Clark, and now Hamilton faced with a decision. And there are 2 Ticat offensive linemen down on the play, and this may affect their decision. Dave Richardson is one of them, and Val St. Germain, the other, just got up.
Well, it looked like the Winnipeg Blue Bombers knew the snap count because they fired off that ball, and I don't think the Hamilton Ticats gained an inch on that play. It was a long yard for a first down, and I don't think they got anywhere near it.
Dave Richardson, the 28-year-old, an 8-year veteran who played junior football for the Edmonton Huskies.
Hamilton. Watch K.D. Williams. He's going to come across and take on 2 blockers, slice inside, hold up McAdoo's progress with Greg Clark, and turn him back.
Made the tackle with his back.
He just cut right between 2 oncoming blocks, and boy, what a nice surprise he's been for Cal Murphy.
With just more than 5 minutes to play in the 3rd quarter, Winnipeg has 1 first down in the 2nd half. Hamilton doesn't have one yet. And they're checking the left knee of offensive lineman Dave Richardson. Mentioned he played junior football for the Edmonton Huskies. There's a couple of players in this game who played junior football. Lee Knight, the Hamilton fullback, played for the Burlington Juniors.
He's a 1994 nominee for outstanding lineman for the Hamilton Ticats.
Chris Johnstone, the Winnipeg fullback, played for the Edmonton Wildcats of the Prairie Junior Football Conference. So there's a few guys that played in junior football across the country.
Now that doesn't look like one of those situations where you're just concerned with your knee. He's definitely not putting as much pressure on that left side. Hopefully he'll be okay.
Jude St. John, who came into the game earlier when Val St. Germain was shaken up, comes back into the game in place of Richardson. It's 3rd and less than a yard for the Ticats, who are going to gamble with the ball at their own 25-yard line.
Hey, losing right there.
Well, the gamble becomes that much more important when one of your offensive linemen, your right tackle, has just come out of the ball game.
3rd and a yard. Taylor straight ahead. I don't know. I think he got there, but it's hard to tell.
Well, he kind of snuck under the pile, and you see that the official gives him the first down and kind of got underneath the whole pile and picks up that first down. You see a great shot of Greg Clark. Got that linebacker look as he comes up in there and right over the pile. You know, there's no hesitation in that kind of play. You just got to commit and hit in there.
You want to know what a linebacker look is? Don't feed your dog for 3 days and then hold a roast in front of him. That's kind of what the linebacker look looks like.
And it has to be a Rottweiler.
On first down, they give back to McAdoo. Picks his way up close to the 30-yard line. A good job by McAdoo to get something when it didn't appear there was anything there.
Well, this is the offensive philosophy that Don Southern was talking about. Run the ball on first down. Continue to work that running game. Even if you're not successful as far as getting the big gain on the ground, it opens up things for you. Your linebackers of the opposing team have to respect the run, and they don't get into their pass coverage as quickly.
Gain was 3 on the play. It's 2nd and 7, and Taylor from the shotgun. Lots of time. Taylor has a man. Rose. And he's out close to midfield to the 54-yard line. A big Hamilton first down.
Well, exactly what we were just talking about, Gordon. Now, when they set up the run like that, you're going to get a shot right here of the Winnipeg linebackers. They only get about 4 yards deep in their pass drops. That opens up the whole middle of the field for Barry Rose, and an easy throw for the quarterback.
A 24-yard gain for Rose, who has his first CFL touchdown today. Here's the reverse. Larry Thompson, what a play by K.D. Williams. Man, K.D. Williams got in there on Larry Thompson, and that play went nowhere. It looked like Larry Thompson was thinking of throwing the football, but he couldn't find an open receiver. As it is, the loss is more than 10 yards.
Well, the handoff goes to McAdoo, the little toss to Thompson. You can see him just in the beginning sort of hesitating when he picked up the ball, but K.D. Williams slashes in there and makes the great play. You know, what you didn't see in the play is that Steve Taylor tried to block Williams. So he beat that block and then made the tackle.
It's a loss of exactly 10, make it 2nd and 20. Taylor, lots of time. Keeper Thompson, he was open, but the ball was well overthrown. Jerron Bolden was there on the coverage, and the pass ball's incomplete.
Well, a little miscommunication between wide receiver and quarterback. That time Thompson came across the middle on his post pattern fairly hard. It looked like Steve Taylor threw it more on that thin post, sort of down the numbers, so a little bit of communication problem there.
And Paul Osbaldiston back to punt. Pretty close to his season average. Another good kick. Wilbert Biggins. Flags are down, and Biggins is out of bounds up at the 32-yard line. Pete Giftopoulos got up to make the stop, a 49-yard punt, a return of 13. And we'll sort the flags out from referee George Black and company. It's an illegal block against the Bombers, which will bring this return back. Well, you got to feel for Jim Gilstrap, former assistant with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. His Ottawa Rough Riders home to the San Antonio Texans tomorrow afternoon here on TSN, 1:30 Eastern, 10:30 Pacific.
And I'll tell you something, when you're a head coach and your free safety is leading your team and is second in the league in tackles, as is Remy Trudel for Ottawa, you know your team's having some problems.
And they're still moving the Bombers back.
I couldn't pick up who it was.
George will tell us.
George will tell us exactly who it was, but it looked like it was on Richard Nurse.
Holding, Winnipeg number 22. That penalty is declined. Holding, Winnipeg number 21. First down.
Take your pick. Ken Burris has the penalty declined, but Blaze Bryant has the penalty called against him. And don't look now. From the point of the foul, the Bombers are all the way back to their own 9-yard line. And those penalties again.
Well, I can't figure out why you would decline one of the two penalties. Why not take them both?
I don't know.
That's a little surprising.
Crowd is on its feet. They fake the draw play to Bryant. Right over the middle they go. Wilcox makes the big catch up at the 23-yard line. Gerald Wilcox gets his team some breathing room. Gary Lewis makes the stop. But Wilcox with a big catch
And it takes a tremendous amount of courage to come across the middle as a receiver in this game and then leave your feet and go up in the air and catch it. And Gerald Wilcox certainly has a lot of heart, goes up, brings. No, he missed a couple of catches earlier. Made a big recovery there.
Gain was 14 and give Winnipeg a first down for 24. Shovel pass inside for Blaze Bryant. He's got a seam, and Bryant gets out to the 35-yard line. He got whacked by Hassan Bailey, but that should be another Winnipeg first down. Shovel pass, shuttle pass.
The old shovel. This is what I like to call it, but Slack's going to drop back, and then underneath comes Blaze Bryant. It's supposed to be a little bit of a misdirection because Slack's rolling one way, Blaze Bryant coming the other way. And Blaze does a nice job of hurdling Rob Hitchcock to pick up those yards.
Another first down for the Bombers, out to their own 35. Slack from the shotgun on first down. Lots of time for Slack. A man over the middle. Wilcox. Oh, what a catch by Gerald Wilcox.
Oh, my.
And Wilcox is down to the 37-yard line. There's an official injured on the play as well. Hard to tell what happened to him, but Wilcox is ruled down at the 37-yard line. And it appears to be Don Ellis, the field judge, who was injured on that play.
Well, the great athletes, when they've dropped a couple, the really great ones will come back and make the big catches for their team. And watch this one right here. Leaves his feet. Wilcox is flat out parallel with the ground and still comes up with the big catch. He had to do it right over the official and everything, but what a catch by Gerald Wilcox.
A pickup of 38 yards for Gerald Wilcox. And he's at 149 yards receiving on the night. And Don Ellis is being checked out by Jerry Kurlowich and the Hamilton training staff.
You know, again, that play, Reggie Slack looked off safety Roger Henning. Roger Henning went to the field. Reggie Slack came back to the opposite side to Gerald Wilcox. So Reggie Slack doing a nice job in that cat and mouse game with the safety. It happens all game. You're reading each other's eyes, trying to make sure where Reggie's going to throw, and Reggie's trying to get Roger Henning away from where he's going to throw.
Hard to tell what happened, but it looked like Don Ellis had his back turned to the play and got clipped by someone trying to come up behind him here, and he got clipped from behind. And so dangerous for the field judge who's so far upfield. And watch for the official, number 70. You just see him rolling there. It looked like Hassan Bailey got him from behind. But you know what Don Ellis did when Wilcox was down? He blew the whistle, even though he was hurt. He managed to get the whistle in and make the call. And they appear to be checking his right leg.
Well, that's what you call playing hurt.
And Jesse Small has been nicked as well, and he's trying to run it off. He's been on the sidelines for some time for the Hamilton Ticats as well. And this is the time of year when all those nicks and bumps and bruises start to add up to injury. And Don Ellis is on his feet. Looks like he wants to stay in the football game.
There you go. Yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay.
He's a tough guy.
I made the call on my back. I got hit, but hey, that's part of the game.
So that'd be good.
The officials are actually considered part of the playing surface.
So you can step on them.
Well, no, I don't think that's what that means. I mean, Greg Clark found out last week you can't mess around with the officials on purpose. They'll throw you out. But
that's right.
That was obviously unintentional.
Well, Ellis is heading to the dressing room for some medical attention, so they'll go an official short. The first down gives Winnipeg the ball at the Hamilton 37. Slack. It's the out and up, but he can't find anyone open. And Slack now just throws that away as he had a Ticat in hot pursuit. It was Lou Cafazzo who almost tripped up Reggie Slack. And Slack looked upfield for the open receiver, and there was nobody there.
Well, I'll tell you what the play was. What happened was Gerald Wilcox had come in on a blocking position at the wing, just outside the tackle, Miles Gurrell. As he turned around, Wilcox sort of slipped down the sideline trying to sneak open almost, but Gary Lewis wasn't fooled. He was back there covering, and Slack had nowhere to go.
That's a trademark Dave Sapungis move, right? Stumble off the line of scrimmage like you're blocking and then get open.
That's right, the old limp around like you're hurt and then take off. Brian Kelly was a great one at it.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah, he'd do all those kind of tricks. Act like he was hurt, act like he was too cold to run, and then all of a sudden he blows by you.
And now we have a problem I believe it's with the roster. This could have something to do with the designated import not checking in.
Of course, when the designated import comes into the ball game, he has to tell the official that he is in and who he's in for.
Because he can only replace an import.
That's right.
Don Ellis has a quadricep bruise, and we'll see if he's able to come back, but that sounds a lot like Charlie Horse to me.
No, and that you got Mike Campbell, you had Assam Bailey and Chris Walby, and I think weight-wise they're about the same. Those 2 to 1.
Well, when I first saw Chris Walby, I thought it was a guy wearing number 6 standing next to a guy wearing number 3.
And those are just his arms.
I know. Yeah, it was the problem with checking in. And now confusion reigns supreme down there.
We are within our...
Well, it took the steam out of Don's argument there. He was ready to roll there, and then he just got to stop.
Well, I think for an official, the best way to take the steam out of a...
Yeah, I'll go get George, so I took the steam out of him.
Well, the best way is to go get another guy.
Reporting in.
And he has to tell me who he's replacing.
97 is off the bench. I mean, he's not even playing.
The point is, Coach, he comes on and tells my official that he's replacing 99. He cannot do that.
He says, I'm
He cannot do that. Bring another player out.
He said he was qualified for the rest of the game. Is he disqualified for the rest of the game? That's what he just told me.
Are we all right now?
Wow.
Well, he can't be disqualified for not reporting. I mean,
wow.
You're saying that Jesse's small.
George Black is a school vice principal, but I mean, not reporting. I mean, that doesn't get you detention for the rest of the year, right?
It sure shouldn't. Jesse Small came out onto the field and didn't report. This is the problem, but...
Can I make a suggestion? Sort this out and let's play the game. Somebody may have to write lines after this game. I will always report to the official. I will always report to the official. I will not replace a non-import. I will not replace a non-import. Where were we? 2nd and 10 from the Hamilton 37. Slack from the shotgun. Shovel, fake, and Slack's in trouble, and he got hit by his own guy. He got taken down by his own man, Brett McNeil. It's the final play of the 3rd quarter. It's a big play for the Hamilton defense, but the Tabbies got some help from the Winnipeg offense. We'll be back with the 4th quarter in a moment. After a timeout at the end of that quarter and a lengthy discussion of the designated import rule, Cal Murphy and his Winnipeg Blue Bombers have the ball at the Hamilton 53-yard line.
Now Reggie Slack is looking downfield, and he knows the 4 defensive linemen for Hamilton that he has to avoid, but he wasn't sure when the game plan was being made that he'd have to avoid Brett McNeil, because Brett McNeil was his left guard and was credit for the sack.
Brett McNeil's first CFL sack, by the way. 3 turnovers by the Bombers, 2 by the Ticats. That's been a big story in the game. And net yards, Winnipeg leads Hamilton. And Winnipeg just chewed up the clock in the first half. They just dominated in time of possession.
Continuing to control the football. When you say those turnovers, I mean 3 and 2, but key turnovers, and turnovers that turn into points.
Bob Cameron is in to punt. The loss was 15 yards on that last play. Low kick by Cameron. Rogers lets it bounce and picks it up at the 10. Look out, here comes Sam Rogers. He's got the kicker to beat. And Bob Cameron made the stop right at midfield. 41-year-old Bob Cameron saved the touchdown.
You know, when Rogers broke through, I had my hands in the air. I mean, that looked like touchdown. The moment he broke through, waiting for the ball and the bounce, and then bang, pops right through the middle of that coverage team, and then it's one-on-one kicker. And Rogers, and watch the technique.
Wow.
Not bad.
I hate to say it, Sam, but you're 22 years old, and you just got tackled by a 41-year-old guy who spends most of his time renovating houses.
Well, and you know he's going to hear about it when he watches the game film from his teammates.
A 43-yard return. Now Taylor rolling up, wants to go deep, almost got slaughtered there, but got the pass away to Barry Rose, and he's got a first down to 45. That was almost pick-a-rip time on Steve Taylor.
And Taylor is definitely limping as he heads back to that huddle. He's not putting quite as much pressure, and we're going to take a look at the pressure on him. Now he wants to go deep downfield. He has 3 receivers downfield. The outlet is Barry Rosen. You'll see the pressure right there late. Greg Clark puts a hit on him, and he was limping coming back.
First and 10 for the Ticats from the 45. The give to Derek McAdoo. McAdoo bounces away, and oh man, he got hit, and then he got hit again. Yikes, Derek McAdoo got whacked twice.
Well, when you're talking about all-stars for the 1995 season, you have to consider Greg Clark, who's usually number 58. He's wearing 91 tonight, but he has put some tremendous hits. First, you get some good second effort by McAdoo as he breaks off to the outside, but look at how McAdoo's body snaps back, and then to his credit, after the huge hit, keeps his feet.
Toughest 3 yards he'll ever get.
Absolutely.
Taylor from the shotgun. Steps up, flags are down. Taylor off and running and won't get outside. He got whacked at the end of the play by Greg Clark, but this has got to be holding against the Hamilton Ticats.
Well, it was in the vicinity.
And it is holding. Kelvin Smith got up to help make the stop as well as Greg Clark quickly talks it over with referee George Black. Interesting decision here now. Taylor was stopped short of the first down at the 40-yard line.
Holding. Hamilton number 57. Repeat second down.
See now, but they could have tried the field goal from the 49-yard line.
Yeah, you'll see right here is where you're going to get the holding call. We'll take a look and see how blatant it is.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, a little bit of grab and then the old takedown technique. So definitely a good call by the official. But you're right, Gord. What Winnipeg right here, the decision they made is to get the Hamilton Ticats out of field goal range.
Right. It would have been a 49-yard field goal try for Troy Westwood. As it is now, they're second down at the 52. Sorry, for Paulus Baldiston. Troy Westwood does not yet kick field goals for the Hamilton Ticats.
Well, it's within Aussie's range, so Winnipeg trying to keep that 3 points off the board.
And you see the problem for the Ticats when time gets down. Screen pass for McAdoo. Oh, man. Kelvin Smith saw that coming, but we've got another flag. And I think Brendan Rogers is going to be called for a late hit on Steve Taylor. And you know what? The Bombers may regret taking that penalty because they've kept the Ticat drive alive in a way.
Well, it would have worked perfectly
if they hadn't roughed the quarterback.
Yeah.
Major foul, roughing the passer. Winnipeg number 35. First and 10.
Yikes, automatic first down.
Kelvin Smith was injured, but he's back in the ball game, and he's back in a vengeance. Look at this. Reads the play perfectly, but you're going to see why the penalty was called. The ball is dumped off by Steve Taylor on the screen plays. He looks down, and then Brendan Rogers takes 4 or 5 steps, and then still buries his head into Steve Taylor's chest. It's a dead giveaway when you put your hands up.
Oh, man, the Ticats go from second and 20 to first and 10 at the 37. 10th penalty of the game to the Bombers. Taylor gets it away. Earl Winfield's in a hand fight down there, and here comes the flag. Well, I'll tell you what, Cal Murphy, he's not going to like this, and the Bombers are hot.
Well, you know what? I think I'm with Cal Murphy on this one because I saw the play from start to finish. Earl Winfield did nothing more but try and get the call here.
Forward pass interference. Winnipeg number 30. First down.
Oh, 30. They called it on Sampson.
Here's Earl Winfield. Here's Ken Burris. They're going to work down the sideline. Now, you be the judge. Burris has got great position on Winfield. When the ball's in the air, I think Winfield realized he wasn't going to get it. He tried to get the foul. Kind of falls on the ground on the acting job, and I think he got away with one there. Burris has reason to be angry.
26-yard penalty. First and 10. Just outside inside the 10. Taylor, quick drop, Winfield, and that hit the back of a Hamilton offensive lineman. In fact, it might have hit Jude St. John as they tried to set up that receiver screen.
Well, they're on the short side of the field, and it was only a 5-yard throw, and when Jude St. John moved backward, it looked like it hit him. He's the right tackle at the right of your screen right there, and that was actually the outstretched hands of K.D. Williams, it looked like. So got his hands on the ball and knocks that one down.
Now 2nd and 10. The Ticats can get a first down without scoring. Taylor from the shotgun. Bombers are blitzing. Taylor to the end zone, incomplete. He was looking there for Larry Thompson, and Darius Watson was there on the coverage, and Watson wants everybody to know it. Paulus Baldwin will come on for the field goal try that would pull the Hamilton Ticats within 4.
Well, they switched receivers. You see Darius Watson picks up Larry Thompson as he comes back inside. Now it's halfback on wide receiver, but it's good coverage by Darius Watson. Steve Taylor really had nowhere to throw the ball, so instead of making a mistake throwing the interception, he gets 3-point attempt out of it.
Mike Kerrigan comes on to hold for Paulus Baldwin, a field goal try from the 18-yard line. Osbaldiston puts it through, and the Ticats have crept still closer. Now down 24-20 with 11:38 to play in the 4th quarter.
CFL Live, brought to you in part by Peoples, bringing people closer for over 75 years.
You know, I once knew a guy who actually believed that you see a different moon in Western Canada than you see in the East. I won't say who it was, but
I'm not going to ask you who it was.
I won't say. 1st and 10 for the Bombers from their own 35 after the Osbaldiston field goal. And slack for Tim Daniel. He just flat out dropped it. How about a game of momentum? Winnipeg scored 24 straight points in the first half, but Hamilton has since come back to score 19 straight.
Well, they picked up that momentum just as that first half was coming to an end. You see the numbers on Reggie Slack. Pretty good numbers. This football game for 223 yards, but with the game in the balance, now's the time. He has to get a drive going.
The Winnipeg Blue Bombers looking for their first win on the road this season. They're 0-7 away from Winnipeg. Slack from the shotgun on 2nd down. And it's a one-hopper. He's looking there for Milt Stiegel, and he has not been much of a factor since the first half. The coverage was provided in part by Tim Brown. And so now, to the delight of this Hamilton crowd, which rises to its feet, the Bombers are forced to send the punting unit on the field.
Well, you can't blame Reggie Slack for that series right there. Look, that 2-and-out. Milt Stiegel dropped what looked like a tough catch, but one he could have made. And Tim Daniel on 1st down definitely dropped one that should have been caught. So not the quarterback's fault there. Now here goes one of Winnipeg's good tacklers.
He wears hockey shoulder pads, so it's not like he's planning to make tackles out there. This time Cameron's looking for the sidelines, but he won't get it there. Rogers from the 33, no yards at the flag, and Rogers out across the 45, and you can tack 4 onto the end of that. A 42-yard punt, a return of 12. Down by 4, the Ticats have the football back.
Welcome back to CFL Control. As you can see, Don Southern pacing the sidelines. He's got himself a new offensive coordinator, and Mike Faragelli, he had this to say on the change.
We won 7 games with this offense, and I could see that it was faltering and slowing down a little bit, and teams are starting to defense it, and we wanted to put in a 2-back offense, and mainly because of cold weather, plus the fact it would help us get out of this little bit of a slump we're in right now, and evidently it wasn't to his liking, and he felt that I didn't like his offense, which was not true. There were just some aspects of it that I thought we could change.
So Mike Faragelli, the recently fired head coach of the Toronto Argonauts, is now the offensive coordinator. Faragelli and Southern were together in Edmonton for that 16-2 season, and Faragelli was the offensive coordinator for the Ticats when they won the Grey Cup back in 1986. Steve Taylor gets it out there for Barry Rose, and Rose has a first down up to the 52-yard line of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Now, it's interesting to note what Don Southern thinks about those high-octane offenses. Remember, he was a defensive backs coach for the Calgary Stampeders as well. And he saw that high-octane offense sputter occasionally in cold weather. So he's very much a believer in a more conservative offense once the cold weather starts coming.
Dieter Brock, on the other hand, when he was playing in the league, loved to throw it.
He loved to sling the rock, didn't he?
Sure did. So that's the type of offense he loves.
First down, Ticats. Taylor up over the middle for Larry Thompson. First pass to go his way in quite a while, and he's not able to make the catch. One thing that has been pointed out about Dieter Brock, fairly or unfairly, for all the numbers that he put up in his CFL career, never won the Grey Cup.
Nope, never won the big game. But, you know, I remember when he went down to the Los Angeles Rams, and he was talking about NFL football and saying, you know, this running thing, I'm not real happy. I remember reading articles in the paper of Dieter Brock saying, we got to throw the ball more. Of course, he was in the National Football League where it's all run. But he definitely, he definitely likes to throw the ball. And when he played up here, he loved to throw it, and he'd throw it on every down. Kind of the Ken Austin attitude. The short running game, the running game for Ken Austin and guys like Dieter Brock was the short passing game.
You know, we've talked so much about this game, how important it is in the race for fifth, but I know another team that's watching this game, the Edmonton Eskimos, are keeping a close eye on this one. And look at this, 30 passes, so it doesn't look like that much has changed. But the Edmonton Eskimos are keeping a close eye on this game. They're home to the BC Lions. And right now they're 9-5 and trying to stave off Hamilton for third place in the North. To go. Taylor underneath for Lee Knight. Got a long way to go and won't get there. Great job by the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. And look who came up to make the stop again. K.D. Williams along with Greg Clark. Ticats will be well short of a first down. It'll be third down, 6 yards to go, and it'll be a long field goal try for Osbaldiston. So instead, Ozzie will punt.
Well, you know, when we saw that stat about the running game and only 13 runs by Hamilton, it's not even necessarily the amount of times you run the ball. The fact is you've got both running backs in the game. The potential to run is always there. You throw it in, the linebackers for the opposing defense have to respect it.
Wilbert Biggins and Milt Stiegel are back to receive the punt from Osbaldiston. This is Stiegel pushed out of bounds at the 13-yard line. Great work by the Hamilton special teams.
Make sure you join us tomorrow. San Antonio's in Ottawa. David Archer having a great year. 16 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Mark Stock with the catch there. He's got 3 TDs. Saunders, Mills, they go up against Ware and Richardson. 1:30 start Eastern time.
Thanks, Darren. On that last play, a 41-yard punt for Paul Osbaldiston, a return of just 6. And the Bombers are backed up to their own 15, and the crowd is getting into it. Slack from the shotgun. Gets it out there for Alan Boyko, and he heads out of bounds at the 22-yard line. It'll be a couple of yards short of a Winnipeg first down.
Nice play selection for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Fairly safe pass, although Mike Campbell was in there quickly. You'll see Slack. It's a quick rollout, almost called a dash, where he dashes to the left. Lets that ball go across his body. Boyko makes the catch, avoids the tackle to get 8 yards. Safe call.
It's a homecoming for the Boykos when they come to Hamilton. They're from here and played their college football in nearby Western Michigan. Second down, 4 yards to go. Blaze Bryant puts his head down, and did he get there? He needed the 25, and he looks to be just a little bit short.
Well, it's running play, or it's gambling time again, because I don't think he got it. And, you know, never like to second-guess coaches, but second and a long 4 to run the ball to the right side of that line, as well as the line's been blocking. I don't know. I think you got to throw it down the field. You see them, they're going to be short.
Ooh. So it's about half a yard. And now the Bombers will go gambling down at their own 25-yard line. You see Kevin McDougall, the backup quarterback, number 15, signaling the play in, and Cal must be pretty intent. He's got the glasses on now. You know the game's getting on the line when Cal puts the glasses on.
Well, it's not very far to go, but at this crucial point of the game, it's a huge gamble.
They haven't been stopped yet. Slack straight ahead, and he got there. It'll be a first down for the Bombers with just over 8 minutes to play now in the fourth quarter, and Winnipeg emphasized nursing a 4-point lead.
Reggie Slack looked awful strong there as he kind of fought for that first down, but you know you get a little tense on the sideline when you're Cal Murphy, even though you know it's only 4 or 5 inches. And watch Reggie Slack now. Initially gets held up there in the middle of the line by Mike Campbell, but you see the great strength by the big quarterback.
First down from the 27-yard line. Bryant is the lone back in the backfield. On the drop play, gets not much, maybe a couple.
That son of a bitch!
Whoa. Just in the nick of time, we get the microphone down.
And you know, Coach Kelly hears that 60 minutes.
Oh, man, we told you. You wonder what it's like to be on the other end of that headset? It's like that for 3 hours. They say Cal Murphy fishes hard. That's how intense he is.
Holding, Winnipeg number 43. Penalty is declined. Second down.
So the market is a gain of just over a yard. It'll bring up second and long now for the Bombers.
Kevin Robson nailed on the holding call.
And a big play for the Hamilton defense. Slack to the shotgun. Dumps it off underneath and gets it to Tim Daniel, and he should have a Winnipeg first down up at the 38-yard line. A big catch for Tim Daniel, who's been a quiet man tonight. The graduate of Florida A&M.
Well, you're probably, if you're in Winnipeg, wondering why they're using that intermediate zone. Right now, Hamilton Tiger Cats on second and long yardage are playing a lot of zone defense. They're dropping their linebackers. Defensive backs are getting deep, so those curls and out patterns open up for you. And Reggie Slack's just taking the ball, whereas Reed takes it.
Slack takes off, and look out, he's got linebackers in pursuit. When he sees the LBs, it's time to get out of bounds. Hot in pursuit for Tim Brown and Hassan Bailey, and they saw the quarterback take off, and they wanted a piece of it.
Well, Hassan Bailey is another one of those tweeners, a guy that's in between. He's got the speed of a defensive back, but the hitting and sizeability of a linebacker. And you'll see once he sees that Reggie Slack, number 7, right there, is going to run, he takes off. And you always worry when you get that close to the sidelines here in Hamilton, because that cement wall comes up awfully quickly.
Yeah, close quarters here at Ivor-Wynne Stadium. I don't think the Ticats aren't aware of it. Gain of 2 at second and 8. Early movement again by the Ticats. Shovel pass for Blaze Bryant. He's got the first down out to the 50-yard line. So it was a free play for Winnipeg, and the Bombers take advantage as Winnipeg will move the chains again, assuming it is offside against the Ticats, which it almost certainly is.
Well, Mike Campbell jumped offside, and you wonder why he did, because he's a veteran out there, but Reggie Slack obviously staggering his count. You see the shovel pass again. Bryant takes it up inside. Rob Hitchcock just gets an arm on him where Bryant goes for a lot further.
Penalty is declined. First down.
Of course, they declined the penalty because got the first down on the run.
First and 10 for the Bombers from their own 50, and Slack back in the shotgun. Running the other way, guns it out there, intercepted by Eric Carter. The CFL leader has his 9th. Oh, a turnover. And the Ticats have another. They've tied the Edmonton Eskimos with a CFL lead. They've got the ball now by 4. Eric Carter has his CFL leading 9th interception of the year, and the Ticats have their 25th as a team, tying Edmonton for top spot.
Well, sometimes you bait the receiver, sometimes you make the great play, sometimes it's pressure, and sometimes
they just throw
your quarterback just makes a bad throw. And that was one that Reggie Slack should not have thrown. Eric Carter was sitting there the whole way and makes the interception.
1st and 10 Ticats from their own 52. Taylor rolling right, lots of guys deep, gets it off underneath for Lee Knight, who fights his way into Winnipeg territory to the 51. It's a pickup of 7 yards.
Now this is one of those plays is not really, obviously considering a passing play, but it's one of those things when you have the two-back offense that it sets it up, because you're thinking run as a defense. You got that fullback in Lee Knight up there, and then he just slips out into the pattern and gives a release valve for your quarterback. It's all set up by having that running style offense.
And this is what offenses love. 2nd and short. 3 yards to go for Taylor, and he'll try to get it himself. Puts his head down, gets down to the 48-yard line, which is exactly where he needed to be for the Hamilton first down. I think he got the left-footed spot. He wanted the right-footed spot, but he got the left-footed spot.
He was letting the officials know, too. You're going to see him come right at you as he comes back to the sideline. Just see how he goes up. Now, when on the sideline, you got to drop those markers to protect the team, so it's hard to see until they stand it all back up and get the ball measured again, but they definitely going to be short with the mark they got.
Yeah, they're short by nearly a full yard, so now the Ticats will go gambling with 5:04 to play in the 4th quarter.
Well, we have seen a lot of these gambles. They're not a lot of distance, but they're so important with the game on the line. You know, one bobbled snap from center or a little bit of a slip by your quarterback, and that becomes an awful long yard.
And now we've got the jumbo defense in there for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, and that means Chris Walby, among others, has come in. The offensive lineman comes in to play defense for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
Yeah, you see him right there. He's playing like the nose tackle position. You know what the instruction to his is? Just go forward and plug up that middle.
This is the 7th third down gamble tonight. Flags are down. And K.D. Williams is up and gesturing, but it looked like Steve Taylor got there. Winnipeg's had 5 third down gambles. That was Hamilton's 2nd. Offside against Winnipeg, so it scarcely matters if Taylor got there.
Well, it doesn't, but it was awfully close, and it looked like, just as we talked about it, Steve Taylor missed the handle a little bit.
Offside, Winnipeg number 72, first down.
How's Chris Walby as a defensive lineman?
Well, he's right there on the hash mark with 2 hands down. You'll see him number 63, and let's see how he does. Straight forward. And see now, Chris Walby doesn't play on defense, and he's got to get underneath those pads of that offensive line.
14th penalty against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. 1st and 10 Ticats at the 43-yard line. Taylor from the shotgun. Has time. Gets it away, but one hops it for Larry Thompson, and Taylor paid the price at the end of that as K.D. Williams really whacked him at the end of that play.
Well, he has 5 sacks on the season, K.D. Williams, but boy, he has a ton of pressures. Now, when you say pressure, that's where the quarterback gets rid of the ball, but you were in his face, and it's an incompletion because of it. K.D. Williams right there again. He's been all over the field, as has his buddy Greg Clark. And
you know, when I first saw him, I thought he had the Winnipeg logo on his teeth, but he's got gold caps that are in the shape of a W.
He's got that Hollywood smile. Look at that. A lot of gold there.
2nd down from the 43. Here comes the blitz. Taylor stands in, looking for Winfield. Winfield makes the catch. Down the 3-yard line. Earl Winfield, no grab. Oh, it looked like Earl Winfield had it, but on his way down, he lost the football. The pass ball's incomplete. Paul Osbaldiston comes on the field for what will be a field goal try from just outside the 50.
Well, you're going to see right here that Garrett is the one that gets beat initially, but I think the help from Darius Watson gets that ball out on Earl Winfield, and here's the pressure again coming on K.D. Williams one more time in the face of Steve Taylor as he releases the football.
I'll tell you what, when Steve Taylor switches off the light in his hotel room or his house tonight, K.D. Williams will hit him for the last time. Osbaldiston from outside the 50, Kerrigan to hold. Missed it by a bundle. They're going to bring it out. Milt Stiegel brings it out. He's got a long way to go. And he's not going to get very far. He's buried up at the 6-yard line. Whether that was instructions from the bench or not, it's hard to tell. Had they surrendered the point, it would have brought the Winnipeg Blue Bombers to a 24-21 score, which meant a field goal would have tied it.
Well, that's obviously the thinking from Cal Murphy. He wants to keep that extra point distance so that the Hamilton Ticats, if they get the ball with seconds left, have to score a touchdown to win. The problem with the decision is now you're backed up and field position becomes an issue. If this is 2 and out and you have to punt, Hamilton starts at midfield.
The Bombers have the ball at their own 7-yard line. 3:38 and counting to play in the fourth quarter, and here comes the Tabby crowd. Blaze Bryant bounces outside. Bryant breaks through. Gets by Henning, and Henning just able to make the shoestring tackle. Blaze Bryant gets out to the 32-yard line. A gain of 25 is his biggest of the night, statistically and emotionally for the Bombers.
This is the Blaze Bryant from 1994 where he had 1,200 yards rushing. Look at the cut right there. That play was designed to go straight up the middle. Blaze Bryant didn't see anything there. He bounces to the outside on his own, and with his speed, gets down the sideline. What a huge play for these Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Get them out of their own end.
First and 10 from the 32. Shovel pass inside for Bryant. And Hassan Bailey tracks him down, but it looks like Blaze Bryant has another first down out to about the 43-yard line. And that's ruled as a pass as opposed to a running play, although it's more like a toss almost, isn't it?
Well, it is a toss. I mean, it's as long as it's going forward, it's ruled a forward pass, and that's what the play is, misdirection. Hamilton had jumped offside again, but Blaze Bryant is really running that ball aggressively.
24-20, the Bombers lead the Ticats. 2:51 to play. We're at the 3-minute warning in Hamilton. You know, when you talk about clock management in a football game, you're usually talking about working time off the clock. I mean, not using too much, the 2-minute drill, but there's another side to it, and that is not going out of bounds now, keeping the clock running so that Don Southern's team can't get the ball back. From the shotgun, they give it back to Blaze Bryant. Hassan Bailey's in pursuit, and Bryant goes out of bounds, and man, he got leveled over there. But he went out of bounds.
Well, Blaze Bryant wants a late hit, but I don't think so. He really had nowhere to go on the play, and Eric Carter, who just had the big turnover for Hamilton, comes up with a huge hit. Blaze Bryant's going to take that sprint draw. He's going to his right, but with Hassan Bailey chasing him down, he really can't make a move on this sideline, and there comes Carter to rock his world.
And the Hamilton fans sensing what an important play this is. The game was 4 at second down, 6 yards to go. Slack, quarterback draw. Flags are down, and Slack got out to midfield, but this is coming back. Holding is the call against Winnipeg. Boy, you sure roll the dice opening the mics down there at this time of the game.
Definitely need a mute button when it comes to
holding. Winnipeg number 66. Repeat second down.
They got Miles. You can't do that. It's Miles Gorell night here.
Well, no, wait a minute. Now, I asked Miles, and he said in 300 games he's never held anybody. So I don't know.
Well, the officials must be wrong then.
Yes, well, I definitely wasn't going to argue with him, but Miles is to the right of your screen, and you'll see right there he's just hanging on to Michael Philbrick.
15 penalties for 150 yards. The Bombers are going to give BC a run for the title of the most penalized team in the league. Second 16. Slack. Guns it. Oh, Wilcox dropped it at midfield. And Hassan Bailey taunts him. So does Eric Carter. Ooh, that's a huge play because now the Bombers will be forced to punt with 2:26 to play. And you know what? The Bombers took some time off the clock, but after the 3-minute warning, those 2 plays consumed only 15 seconds.
Well, I tell you what, with 2:26 left, there's enough time for both teams to have a couple of possessions. I mean, there's plenty of time on the clock, but took a look right there at Reggie Slack, who definitely cannot be faulted again for the drive ending. Wilcox should have had it.
Sam Rogers is back deep to receive the Bob Cameron punt. Great kick by Cameron. Rogers from the 30. Out to the 37. Flags everywhere. A 43-yard punt, a return of 7.
We got flags on the field.
And this would look to be an illegal block against Hamilton, and that would back them up severely. It is holding against the Ticats on the return, and that's going to cost them.
I believe it was Andrew Martin, number 27 for Hamilton, who was nailed for the holding.
Holding, Hamilton, number 27, first down.
Hey, Hawkeye, your vision's back.
Well, it was right down the middle of the field. It was pretty in plain view of myself and the officials, but you'll see right here Brendan Rogers coming down, and watch the battle and the war that goes on there. That's a great special teams cover, man, but Yiftopoulos came over and lowered the boom on him. Look at these two coaches. You can't tell who's winning by that picture.
Wow.
They're both uptight.
There's some serious testosterone in that shot, folks. First down now from the 23. Screen pass from McAdoo. Flags are down, and Derek McAdoo's in the open field. McAdoo wins for a block. Still going. And down to the 47. Now, watch the flag. A 40-yard gain for Derek McAdoo, and it'll stand. Offside Winnipeg is the call.
I talked about
offside. Winnipeg number 35.
Talked about the ability of Daryl Sampson to make the tackle in the open field. Well, it's 1-1. Sampson won, Derek McAdoo won. That time Sampson put his head down, McAdoo leaped over him and comes up with the huge gain, the crucial time.
Clock is running, under 2 minutes to go now in the 4th quarter. Hamilton must score a touchdown. Taylor with time, underneath, broken up. He was looking there for Manny Hazard. Greg Clark was there on the coverage. Well, you know all about how dangerous Derek McAdoo is, right?
Yeah. I can definitely remember, and thanks for bringing it up, by the way.
You're welcome.
I can definitely remember Derek McAdoo getting open on me in the Grey Cup game in 1989 and scoring a touchdown, but I know his ability, believe me. He's got great speed and great quickness.
What does he look like from behind?
I don't know. I just saw the dust.
In the dome, though.
Yeah.
2nd and 10. Taylor to the far sideline. Larry Thompson needs to get upfield for a first down. It'd be close. Didn't get out of bounds. And Larry Thompson has what should be a first down. It is to the 35-yard line.
Well, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers have done a great job on Larry Thompson to this point in the football game, but this time he beats him on the curl route and a good throw on time. A lot of timing there. You see Larry Thompson have to go down to his knees to make the catch. You know, he had 275 yards last time these two teams played, and not so many tonight.
First down from the 35. Here comes the blitz. Taylor gets outside. Can't find anyone open. Taylor needs to get out of bounds, and does, up to the 27-yard line.
And he's limping. I think he may have slightly pulled a muscle as he took off to the outside. It looked like it was one of those hamstring deals.
And there's an injured Winnipeg Blue Bomber. Down on the play is Robert Presbury, number 98. And he'll remain down with 1:20 to go in the 4th quarter. What is it about Winnipeg and Hamilton in close games?
Well, it's the barn burner. You know, Kelvin Smith at the linebacker position is in there, but he's playing hurt. He left the game earlier. They've had to make some adjustments. Andre Allen is out from the linebacker position for Winnipeg, so Brendan Rogers has been playing. And now, with this injury, it looks like Colin Scribner is going to have to come in the game for Winnipeg.
And you see Mike Kerrigan, the quarterback of that Hamilton Grey Cup team back in 1986. He's talking to Mike Faragelli, but Mike Kerrigan calls the plays for the Hamilton Ticats. And in fact, Don Sutherland told us yesterday he fully expects that Mike Kerrigan will be
an offensive coordinator. And look at the Toronto factor. Kerrigan's a former Argo. Upstairs, Ferragelli's a former Argo. Mike McCarthy next to him's a former Argo. And Terry Greer, you see, the receivers coach, is a former Argo.
Well, you know, Mike Kerrigan called his own plays as a quarterback, and you see Greer right there. He's confident that Kerrigan has such a great grasp of the offensive game in the CFL that why not just give him the reins and let him go in. When he plays, he calls them all. So why not call him from the sideline? And he is invaluable to these young quarterbacks in practice. He helps them out. He works with them constantly. And you know what? I was watching him throw the ball in warm-up. He can still sling it. They need him. He's ready to come off the bench.
Played last week, in fact, against San Antonio. And speaking of the 89 Grey Cup, sorry, buddy, but he had some kind of game for the Hamilton Ticats in 89.
Yeah, but now I got to come to my own defense here. I also picked him once in that game.
Oh, there you go. And you've got the dinner plate to prove it, that Grey Cup ring you wear. I've seen smaller truck bumpers.
Oh, yeah. Well, when you win two in the history of the league, you got to make the one, you know, the second one a big one.
Now it's a fire drill. It's 2nd and 2. And again, Gurrell and Walby come out to play defense for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
You see Anthony Calvillo on the sideline right beside Kerrigan, listening to his every word.
Hey, throw the ball here. You got Walby and Gurrell out there playing defense for the Bombers. 2nd down, 2. Taylor. Well, look out. McAdoo's bottled up behind the line of scrimmage, and he won't even get close. Where are they going to mark him? Up at about the 26. He's going to be short, and don't forget, he didn't get out of bounds, so the clock will start running as soon as they get the football plays.
Well, he's definitely short. Now watch Clark, number 91. He's done it all game, and he continues to do it. He comes up and just stops Derek McAdoo, and from behind says, whoa, baby, come back this way. Pulls him back with the help of the rest of the squad. What a game Greg Clark is having.
They spot him just shy of the 25. They'll need to get across the 25 for the first down. Clock is running. Taylor straight ahead, got it. And now he needs to get his team huddled up quickly because there's just 1:05 left to go. And this is the other side of clock management that we talked about. Oh, we're in for a finish now. And it's only going to get tougher from here.
Looks like Dale Sanderson got up limping a little bit from that pile, and already some bagged up offensive linemen for Hamilton, but here we go.
Under a minute to play, 4th quarter. Ticats need the end zone. Taylor underneath for Derek McAdoo. They won't be able to get out of bounds. In fact, they won't get much of a gain at all. And now the Ticats are going to have to go into hurry-up mode unless they decide to call timeout.
Here we are, 2nd and 9.
It doesn't look like they're going to call it. As far as the timeout goes now, when the whistle is blown, the clock starts.
Hey, that's illegal, fuck the dude.
On 2nd down, Taylor to the end zone. Winfield, touchdown! Oh, Winfield, touchdown, Hamilton! He just passed Ray Elgard in the all-time list. But no, there's a flag. Look out, there's a flag. And this is coming back. Oh, man, wait till you hear this from the crowd.
Offside, Hamilton, number 88, 2nd down repeated.
Oh, and they're flipping out on the Hamilton bench.
Well, Larry Thompson is right here, and let's see if he's the guy that's offside. Now, he's got to be lined up offside. You see him go in motion.
Hard to tell.
It's hard to tell from that shot, but
2nd and 13 for Taylor. He wants Winfield again. Here it goes. Jump ball, end zone, bounce up in the air. Winfield almost got it on the 2nd try. Hamilton's down to 1 strike with 20 seconds to go.
Well, Gordon, I think they have time for more than one play. Now, they have time for a couple of plays, but this is just the hope pass by Steve Taylor, and why not throw it to Earl Winfield? He just came up with the big catch, and he very nearly came up with that one. And Winfield's coming down now. Taylor's buying time, and now it just becomes a jump ball. See it timing his jump. Goes up and almost gets it on the deflection.
I'll tell you what, the nullified Earl Winfield go-ahead touchdown. Yikes. Third down. Through the middle, intercepted by Brendan Rodgers. It's picked off by the Winnipeg linebacker, and with 12 seconds to go, it would appear the Winnipeg Blue Bombers are about to get their first road win of the year, and it is one that is going to make the Northern Division race a very interesting one. The Bombers are poised to go to 5-10. The Ticats will drop to 7-7. Brendan Rodgers, the special teams ace, came in when Andre Allen got injured and came up with the interception, his first of the year.
Well, it was just a poorly thrown pass by Steve Taylor. Winfield was going straight on the post pattern. Taylor threw it way behind him and short. Brendan Rodgers was on the spot, and you know that's going into his trophy case. Getting a chance to play when Andre Allen was injured for Winnipeg and comes up with the play of the game for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
Wow. Ticats thought they had the go-ahead score, but they were called for offside.
You know, Gord, if Winnipeg wins by 4 points, and they're up by 4 right now, they win the series against Hamilton, so if it comes down to a tie, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers can still mathematically finish in 4th spot.
The glasses are still on, but the headset's off, and oh, look out, Cal Murphy's going into the crowd. No, he's got players talking to the crowd, and he wants to get them out of there.
Well, I've been on that sideline, and those fans are definitely constantly letting you know that you're in Hamilton, and Cal just doesn't want the players to get involved.
Final play of the game. Slack will simply take a knee, and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, who reeled off 24 unanswered points in the first half, saw them stand. And the Bombers get their first road win of the season. And now Cal can finally smile as they beat the Hamilton Ticats 24-20.
Saw Gerald Wilcox going over there and congratulating his head coach after, you know, he had a couple go through his hands in the game, but you know, you always have those guys that respond, and Brendan Rodgers comes in a situation where he gets a chance to play linebacker from an injury and comes up with the huge play.
24-20 is the final for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. And the Winnipeg club is very much in the playoff chase. Back with more on the CFL Live from Hamilton in just a moment. Time now for the TSN Turning Point, brought to you by Apple Auto Glass. It's a double turning point. The Ticats thought they had the go-ahead touchdown, but Larry Thompson was called for offside, nullifying what would have been Earl Winfield's second touchdown catch of the game. Then on the next play, the Ticats went over the middle, but Brendan Rodgers, who came on in place of the injured Andre Allen, came up with his first interception of the year, just the second of his CFL career. That sealed it for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, and that is tonight's TSN Turning Point. A cash donation will be made to the Coaching Association of Canada for the training and development of Canadian coaches in amateur sport on behalf of TSN and Apple Auto Glass. Guaranteed the pick of the crop from coast to coast. Let's go back to CFL control, and after the Winnipeg victory, we can check in with Darren Detition.
Thanks very much, Gord. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers come up with a huge victory, as you mentioned. It is their first road win of the year. They are now tied with the Saskatchewan Roughriders for that 5th and final playoff spot in the North Division. Joining us now is Reggie Slack, the winning quarterback. Reggie, we appreciate you taking the time. This must feel awfully good.
Yeah, it does. It's a much-needed win for us. It leaves us right in the hunt for a playoff spot coming into this game. We wanted to play tough. We wanted our offense to come out and put some points on the board, and we did that in the first half. We struggled a little bit in the second half, but our defense stepped up there at the end and won the game for us.
You guys did play very well in the first half. You scored 24 points. Don't pick up a point in the second half. I talked to Cal Murphy at halftime. I questioned his call, or asked him about it, leaving you guys in there to go for it offensively. You get picked off. The next thing you know, Hamilton gets a couple of touchdowns and gets back into it. But as a quarterback, you must love that when a coach shows confidence in you and sends you out there to do the job.
Absolutely. As a quarterback, that's what you want to see. You want your head coach and your offensive coordinator to have confidence in you. And when they do, you can play with confidence, and you're not afraid to make mistakes. And you know that if you make a mistake, then, hey, it's just a mistake. You come back the next play and make a big play, and everything is forgotten.
And you guys come back. So that one didn't work out at the end of the first half. You guys come back late in the fourth quarter, though. You hand the ball off to Blaze Bryant. He kills some of the clock, controls some of it. Wild finish in this game. How are you feeling physically? A lot's been made of your knees. You look very mobile tonight and look extremely good.
Well, the knee feels great. I've had a couple injuries throughout this season, my ribs and sprained a shoulder, but I'm healthy now and looking forward to making it to the playoffs, and hopefully we can make some noise here at the end of the season.
You know what? This is one thing that the Bombers have not had all season long. We've talked about them having 6 quarterbacks, and they've had 22 receivers coming through so far this year playing that position. But now you've given them back-to-back good games.
Well, I think right now we're starting to gel. You know, we don't have a quarterback here that was in camp. We've brought in a number of receivers that weren't in camp with us, so we're just now starting to get on the same page. We've got all of our offensive linemen healthy, and we're playing as a unit now. And when you get that congruency and that consistency, then you can do a lot.
Boy, it sure seemed to me that you and Wilcox were on the same page. You were going to him all night long, and he had a fine performance.
Absolutely. You know, Gerald, he's a great receiver. You know, the things he did last year and the last few years in Winnipeg, you know, you have to get the ball in that guy's hands because he's going to make a big play for you. And, you know, on a number of occasions tonight, he made the big play, and it kept us in the ball game.
You guys must feel pretty confident about your chances now going into postseason play. When you take a look at your record as opposed to the Saskatchewan Roughriders and what you guys have down the stretch now, Saskatchewan definitely has a tougher task at hand. The Bombers knew they had to pick up this victory. Are you guys extremely optimistic now about the postseason?
Oh, absolutely. You know, we've got 3 games left. Saskatchewan has 4 or 5. They play Baltimore twice, Calgary twice, and also BC. 3 of those games are on the road. So our schedule definitely favors us to make it to the playoffs. We just got to go out, play tough, and win some ball games.
Well, you guys played tough tonight. Your defense really bailed you guys out, too, in the second half. I thought that Clark was outstanding in this game.
Absolutely.
Reggie, we appreciate you taking the time. Congratulations on the victory.
Thank you very much.
Winnipeg Blue Bombers pick up their first win on the road this season. Reggie Slack orchestrates the win. Perhaps they got a little fortunate with the penalties that were called. I thought the National Hockey League was trying to hang on to trying to nail down the clutching and the holding. It definitely was the case in the Canadian Football League tonight. Penalties definitely hurt both teams. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers with 4 turnovers in the game, but yet penalties and turnovers aside, they come up with a victory. We can't stress how important this win is. When you take a look at Winnipeg from the start of the season, they have had problems at the quarterbacking position all season long. Defensively on the road, going into tonight's contest, they had given up like 49 points per game on average. This evening, Greg Clark was a big part of the defensive struggle out there. He joins us now live from Iberwin Stadium. Thought you just had a fantastic game tonight.
Yeah, it went pretty well. You know, the defense clicked, and the offense came along, and they played well, and they kept us off the field, so we was pretty fresh.
Well, you know what? The offense looked great in the first half. They rack up 24 points. We go in at halftime, and we think, well, they're going to score a few more points for the defense here in the second half. But that was it. They come up with a 24, but yet you guys did the job and held them.
Yeah. You know, they kind of ran into a brick wall, and, you know, defense had to step up and stop them. They got a couple big plays that really, it was just assignment bust, and they really didn't do anything that we didn't expect them to do.
How hard is it playing against Taylor as opposed to Calvillo? Because Taylor, we know he has the mobility. He likes to move out of the pocket. He likes to move around. But yet you guys had pretty good contain.
Yeah, we expect them to run a lot more of red and blue, and they did. You know, we just had to come off with second contain, which kind of left the curl open, and they, you know, the receivers sat down, and they got a couple big plays on us on that. So it gave us problems with him rolling out in his scrambling ability.
Well, I'm telling you, that McAdoo, he's a pretty hard runner, too, because you guys really popped him on occasion, but yet he kept bouncing back for more. But the ultimate victory was yours. You guys end up coming up with a clutch performance. Now you're tied with Saskatchewan. We were just talking to Reggie Slack about it. You have to love your playoff chances.
Oh, yeah, we like them, you know, because, as you know, Saskatchewan and Hamilton have a pretty rough schedule, and it's basically in our hands. So, you know, win or lose, how tough their schedule is, we still have to take care of our own.
Have you ever been through a season like this where there was some internal fighting within the dressing room itself, and there was some fighting on the sidelines, and you've got quarterback shuffles? I mean, 6 quarterbacks that have changed, gone through your offense. You ever been through something like this before?
No. Looking back, I can't recall being through any of this. And also, it's the same on defense.
Yeah, you guys have had people popping in and out.
Yeah, we have guys coming in and guys going down, and there's no consistency at all. So it's pretty hard to come together and know what each other's doing. So it's kind of bit by bit, game by game situation.
Well, you still have 3 games remaining, 2 against the Toronto Argonauts. Then you've got the Ottawa Rough Riders. It looks as though you guys are going to advance to postseason play. It looks as though. We got to qualify that. You had a great game tonight. It was a treat watching you. It was a pleasure talking to you as well, Greg. We appreciate you taking the time.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Once again, Greg Clark of the winning Winnipeg Blue Bombers. He laid on some big hits. They were all over Taylor all night long. The Bombers come up with the win. We'll take ourselves a short break. Stay tuned. CFL Control continues in a moment. Welcome back to CFL Control. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers coming up with a huge victory tonight. A ton of penalties for their final thoughts on the game. Let's go to Gordon Glenn. They continue to stand by at Ivor Wynn. Gentlemen.
Thanks very much, Darren. Well, it's not often you get 24 points in the first half and then sit on the lead, but the Bombers were able to do that, Glenn.
Well, I don't know if they sat on the lead. I mean, the thing about this is, you said it earlier, 19 points. When the Bombers hold the opposing team to 19 points, they win the football game. Tonight it was 20, close enough.
What's interesting was hearing Reggie Slack. And you talk about players who were into the situation. Reggie Slack talked about his team. He also talked about Saskatchewan, knew who they had to play and knew how many games they had at home. This is a guy who's focused on what his team has to do.
Well, absolutely, and he's right. It's a race in the Northern Division, and if Winnipeg can take care of their job and Saskatchewan, who have the tough schedule, falter in any way, then Winnipeg's in. Saskatchewan's out for that 5th spot.
And the Hamilton Ticats had a chance to nail down a playoff spot tonight, but were unable to do it. All they needed was the win or the tie. Darren?
Hey, thanks very much, gentlemen. On to our game story. Once again, recapping what took place tonight, the key elements involved. Siegel with 131 return yards really was a factor in the first half, not so much so in the second half. Taylor goes 20 for 40, 269 yards, couple of touchdowns. Slack 22 for 35, 259 yards, 1 TD. Wilcox had a big game, 10 receptions, 150 yards. He was the go-to guy. Our next game tomorrow. Make sure you join us. It's 1:30 Eastern Time start. You've got the Ottawa Rough Riders home to the San Antonio Texans. Texans 8-5, Ottawa 2-11 on the season. Make sure you stay tuned to the Sports Network, because coming up next, we've got Rod Smith and Michael Landsberg. They've got Sports Desk, all the scores and more. Cal's club wins on the road. That'll do it for us tonight. Thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.